Just survive, excuse me.
Holding that position with the M16 is pretty decent, but Basti's not going to have any of it. He has got the AK, not so great at that distance, so he could get tapped away, but he has got this verticality in his favor.
Yeah, Basti was the one that got that early knock, trying to add a little bit more to their score. They're going to be able to find a little more here onto TRD on the opposite side. Just survive, starting to trade some fire back.
Yeah, there's only 2 members standing on each team. No, sorry, there's actually 3 on TRD, as they are going to be pushing up towards JS at the moment in this building.
Multiple firefights going on right now, so we got the picture-in-picture going. Just Survive going to move on up into TRD's territory. But on these multiple levels, it's always tense. Who's going to blink first?
Yeah, and you can see 2 of the JS members who are knocked have actually dropped down to try and get some information, try and tell their teammates where they are. But it's going to be doing too much. Lots of shots coming out, and they're going to be going for the push. JS is going to lose another member. Now it's going to be a one-man army.
All right, let's see if he can hard carry on this one. This is going to not be so easy. He's up on the top floor. That's Prada. Meanwhile, the other fight, a little bit indecisive. All 8 members of both teams left up. This might attract some third-party attention, though. A couple of nades flying into that barn door.
Look at this. We do have JS pushing in onto the stairway, but it's not going to happen. He goes down, and that's going to be a wipe for JS, and that's going to be TRD looking pretty happy with themselves. So we switch on over to the barn fight here. Still a little bit of a standoff here. I don't think anyone has died as of yet, unless... Has AM lost the player?
It doesn't look like it. Don't have all 4 with them just now, but Ikerd are kind of holed up in this barn. You could already see Basti just laying down heaps of suppressing fire to keep him down. There was 1 knock onto the Ikerd side, so 4v3, definitely not keen to peek out.
Yeah, you have to be very careful on this one and how much you sort of dictate, push in. If you push in too aggressive, they're going to be able to get the grenades in, or they're going to be able to mow you down as they push in through a door. They have the peeker's advantage with third person, so we do see AM try and back away here a little bit, try and get some shots in. And the opposition here, KR, they're not going to be sort of resin straight off the bat. That's a very smart move. It's good to see a few players doing this, but we are going to be seeing another knock coming in. So
yeah, it's Hooker down again. They'd already gotten him back up on his feet, so he's knocked for a second time. And all right, so Circle shrinking down for a little bit, but that fight that's still ongoing, we'll see how that ends up petering out. The next circle comes in, and it's to the east, centering on Cement Factory.
Yeah, and you know what? That does actually cut out Dino Park, and look at that package. Lots of good level 3 gear. Yeah, and also an AUG, pretty good gun.
I always wonder what teams tend to want to do for. We'll talk about that a little bit more because there is a breach coming in. It looks like Ikerd actually opting to bail out.
You can't blame them here.
I mean, they've got 3. Okay, no, they just lose 2. This is it. That's going to be the wipe, and yeah, Arab Madness. They're just going to gun him down the rest of the way.
They are hunting him down.
All right.
Are they going to be able to find him, though?
He's got a vehicle. Let's see if he can get out of there. Fires it up again, but he's all under fire, and there's nowhere to go right now. Arab Madness, they will finish the job.
And that was a really good play by him, although it didn't succeed. You can actually see that they're a team with some sort of smart about them because they were trying to go in for that position rather than them just duke out and go for the full firefight. They tried to get a player to drive away. Is that car got music?
Yeah.
PUBG Mobile is fantastic.
Just having a little bit of chill time, yeah. Now we're just going to tab out for just a second, just relax.
Brilliant. And there we go. But what I was going to say, him moving away in that car was a really good move because they want to try and get higher positions so they can get those stand points rather than the kills, which they know which are only worth 1 point.
Yeah.
So is it worth fighting and losing? No. He might as well just try to get away. Unfortunately, not successful. And now we're watching a nice drive over here. Never mind.
You got to break up the action with a little bit of chill scenes, just a little bit of relaxation every now and again. There's going to be another... bit of a standoff here, but the 2 teams are giving themselves quite a lot of distance to cover. So taking a look at our rosters to see who we're looking at right now on the KS side.
Yes, that's AS, and they've got an interesting position in verticality here, and it's also got, it seems like it's got a creeper face on the side of it for those of you who play Minecraft.
I believe this is Kurd's squad, by the way. It's one of our teams in Group A.
And this is MBZ as well. And they've actually opted in for a compound, which is actually quite defendable for them, but it depends on where they position themselves. They can peek over the wall in third person, or they can stay in the buildings and try and make sure you can go from... Yeah, exactly. There's actually quite a few good compounds like this in Vikendi, and it makes it quite difficult for teams who are pushing against them because they can peek out behind the walls as the cars are pushing them, or if the players are pushing by foot, it gives them an advantage when peeking out from behind hard cover.
Speaking of peeking out from behind our cover, a couple of teams starting to do that right now. We actually have seen a decent spread of action. Like you normally will see, like kind of different phases of the game coming through. But so far, especially because these teams don't know each other and they may not know Vikendi very well, we are seeing a lot more kind of scattered action across the board.
Yeah, and I mean, they may have seen it over on PUBG PC if they'd been playing that at all, so they might have got some practice on there before the game came in. We are going to be seeing the final wipe, I think that was, of the AT team. I think that might have been the same team that wiped them, attacked them early on. Pretty interesting. But nonetheless, the circle is now going to be closing in. A few teams are going to have to push in. Team 9, TRD, who did get a wipe on the team earlier on, are going to have to push in. Dynapark is now obviously out, so it's not in the sort of calling cards for this. This circle is more than likely going to land on Cement Factory or on that sort of main body of land. There's just not enough land on the western side there for it to be worthwhile.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. RBK, they've just been legging it the entire time ever since the circle started going over to the east side. We're taking a look at the TRD squad earlier. Winners of that fight as they run through the blue. Taking a little bit of damage as they go, but they are still relatively healthy. One of them is dead, though, so it's a 3-man squad.
Yeah, they do have to be careful because this is going to start chunking away at them. It's obviously only doing it very slowly at the moment, but as soon as this touches, there we go.
They're pretty far, actually.
Yeah, so that as soon as that safe zone changed, the blue damage went up instantly. And the further you are away from the blue, the circle, the more damage it's going to do. And so the circle has located and sort of moved down to the southern side, and look at that package.
There's an AWM in there.
We were discussing this earlier. We're going through the different guns and the drops and stuff, and the AWM is such a fantastic beast. Being able to just one-shot any of the helmets.
It's also, it seems like a pretty good spot for a loot crate as well, because you look at where it is, there's not a lot of open areas, there's a lot of houses, unless someone's already keeping sights on it.
Yeah.
Someone running up to that might be able to do it in relative cover, which is not always the case. If it just drops in the middle of the field, you better believe it's a trap.
Yeah, I mean, if you go for that drop in the middle of the field, you're pretty much risking everything for it. If you take the car, you'll have a bit of cover. Otherwise, you're dependent on that box to be your cover the whole time. And if you have an AWM, maybe you'll get a few spicy shots out, but it's more than likely that you're going to get grenaded or shot from a distance. So let's see what happens there. I think a few teams are going to start that sort of rotation here because they need to get inside the circle.
Rush to crush. You know, we saw them earlier. They won that fight. There've kind of been a couple of teams, a couple different strategies taking place. Teams that are going for 4-man breaches and teams that are just waiting the loot spot. Sometimes that might be dictated more by circumstance than play style, but we will see.
Yeah, and TRD actually did get inside the circle. Not too surprised at this, but they have taken quite a bit of damage. So they're going to have to use quite a few different meds for it. But there should be a surplus there. It'll be interesting to see. But, well, some players have opted to go in for a very cold swim. I don't blame them. They're obviously trying to cross that bridge.
Bracing.
It's pretty dangerous, and they didn't want to try and go for a saving.
It's MBZ Falcons. They haven't had too many run-ins so far, so really going for the placement game makes a lot of sense. Same with RBK. These are the guys that started over on Dino Park, and they've pretty much just been on foot the whole time.
Yeah, there's actually
Castle.
Yeah, and when these guys actually run into locations, they're actually doing a semi good formation. They're not sticking too close together. You can see these guys; they're quite spread out. They're not looking to get grenaded or instantly sort of mowed down. Well, as I say that, they are jumping on a ski so they're going to be able to try and cross that bridge, which is obviously very dangerous. It takes too long to swim, so they may just want to run across it anyway. But the circle is coming, so I don't have too long as we go into the fourth circle very soon.
Yeah, the remaining 3 members of Arab Madness as well making a run for it. And you can see a couple of players that are just on individual levels still trying to make those placement points. As you pointed out, we have to remind everybody that it is so important to make the high placement. 30 points for the top team. I mean, that's so much more than you get for kills in this mode.
And I just want to correct myself, because I said something earlier that A&T were actually wiped. They're not. That player was the last player, and he was in a completely different direction and sort of location to his other teammates who were wiped on a bridge earlier on.
I believe that's Executor is the team we're looking at.
Okay, Executor.
Yeah, it's one of the teams representing Israel, actually, here in the ME.
Interesting. Spicy times.
Yeah, for sure.
But the fact that you were just talking about circles, and he's quite literally just edged himself in. If he just plays nice and slowly and waits until the game ends, he will be able to get more points. I mean, 9th position is okay, but it's not the best. So the circle is now going to be pushing in.
So that's Clown. Look where he is, too. Ooh, it's a rough one for him to actually make that run, but at the same time, he has a direct path to it. Not a lot of teams are going to be going for him. You can see a couple of that Team 3 up in the top right corner. They're going to be probably the closest to make that push. But half the team's inside the next circle, half the team's out.
It'll be interesting to see if they do go in for that sort of in his path, and if they do get inside the circle in time. But there's going to be enough space here for, I think, for a lot of teams to be able to stay in, but we're definitely going to be seeing a lot more conflict. 9 teams live right now, half the server population of 32. So that extra 1 team is actually just that 1 man standing who's running through the open.
We'll see if Clown can make it. At the end of the day, everyone else has found themselves some nice little cover for the time being. We're taking a look at RBK. And these guys, they were the ones that ran across the bridge on Castle, but fortunately, they didn't meet anybody. They were just so spread out from everyone else. You'd think they'd be playing PvE this game.
Yeah, were they the guys at Dino Park?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so
RBK.
they have survived that. They're a little bit disappointed it didn't land on them, but they still made it through, and some
Now
shots
into
going to
the
be coming in.
fights. All of a sudden, one of the RBK members in his sights, he's finding, looked like 1 knock to kick things off.
Yeah, and he's actually going to be using that M4 with a scope. It's going to be the 3 times. He can take a little bit of damage here, so he has to be a bit careful when he's peeking, because now if a DMR hits his head, he could go down.
This layout, though, between the 2 huts they've got, nice spread.
Yeah, it's a good sort of decent angles they can do. And oh, look at this. They're actually going to be going through this sort of crevice and hoping to God there's no one on either side of them, which seems like they're going to be lucky.
Just about to crest into the safe zone. Pretty easy for them right now. And yeah, I don't know how longer we're going to be able to say that, because there have been a number of teams that have kind of just not passed like ships in the night, but just passed out of each other's vision.
It can only go on for so long. The circle will get tighter, and the teams are going to have to fight.
Yeah, zone 4 and closing. 17 minutes on the clock right now, as you mentioned. Half the server population eliminated.
Ooh. So RBK are actually going to be in between 2 different teams. It's going to be the team AM, and also I think it was TRD or Rush to Crush, actually, they were in between. So they have to be very careful in how aggressive they are now, because they're going to be at a disadvantage when peeking from angles.
Yeah, those are both teams with a whole lot of combat experience in this round alone. You could see they were ones taking the early fights. It's AM, Arab Madness on one side, TRD on the other. And they're caught on the low ground, so this is definitely not the most advantageous position.
We're talking about low ground. Here's some high ground here from KS, who have actually managed to position themselves a little bit higher, but they're not going to be dedicating themselves too high, because they do realize that our teams are going to be able to do it. And there's Clown.
Oh, he's just watching the zone tick, man. I love it.
Yeah, so he did drop some meds there so he can heal up as he drives in with this lovely tune. So he's going to be able to get in fairly easily, but thanks to the fact that he's going to be driving in, the noise is going to be attracting attention if he carries on too far. I think he might have just dived into the water and decided to walk the rest.
Yeah, it makes sense. He's trying to play up as much as he can up against the barrier, because he knows he's not going to stand a huge chance against the rest of the teams. Maybe get a cheeky shot off, pad the stats just a tiny bit for his team. All the same, they are in the top half, or at least close enough to it. Not necessarily in terms of teams, but if he makes it past 1 or 2 more firefights, all of a sudden, you get into double-digit point territory.
Yeah, and he really needs to do that, because I'm fairly certain none of them have any kills, and the rest of his teammates were downed and out for the count very early on in this game, so it's pretty disappointing, but we'll see.
Hey, dives into the water. Now the firefights are beginning, though. This is TRD that's going to kick things off.
And I mean, like I said, RBK, they're going to be in the middle of this, so to be honest, as far as they're aware, just make sure you're not going to get shot by one of the teams and take a couple, but don't go too full aggressive. Circle coming in. Where's it going to land?
Right in the middle. Oh, and they're still inside of it. So
interesting. I mean, AM aren't in. Yeah, they're going to have to push down, and so KS and TRD as well. So, and also right on the edge there, MBZ.
Yeah, MBZ Falcons, I feel like they've pretty much been running this entire game, like even more than RBK have, because they finally found a nice little home. They can hole up. It's a fixer-upper, you know, you get a little bit repaired. Maybe try to sell to somebody a little bit later on, get a little bit more money for your trouble instead, but they're in trouble because 2 of their neighbors are not too happy with them.
Yeah, so they're going to have to move. They've been told to vacate the premises, and that's exactly what they're going to do in this Dacia. So they're going to be able to drive on through. And they may well be able to get in and sneak under the radar, because there's going to be quite a lot of combat going in between AM and RBK. And also
too.
KS as well. They're going to be coming in from behind.
Yeah, they moved down from that high ground, as you can see, so they should have had the lay of the land here. And I think we're going to be in for a big third party right now. Arab Madness is going to kick this off with a couple of pot shots onto RBK.
And RBK actually got a package here. Like, it's just
You've got to be kidding me.
It's a delivery on them, so they smoked it. And was that an AWM? Did I miss that?
Well, let's see. Level 3 helmet.
Yeah, it's good.
It's another thing to point out, too, and one thing we don't see in the desktop PUBG all that much is level 3 equipment. Another firefight going down, though. It looks like 2 members getting knocked and then downed, taken out of this one. MBZ, still in the car, driving about.
Clown is just in the distance.
Nobody notices him. He's just sneaking around. Here's the firefight up close, though, and Control is going to be able to get the finishing blow. So, another team eliminated, down to 28 players.
And look at this, AMD slowly trickling down the mountainside. And unfortunately, RBK haven't positioned themselves, and they can't actually because of the opposition right opposite them. They have to be careful.
And here comes Basti and the rest of Arab Madness. Looking to breach the house here on the side. So dangerous. B-52 is going to get instantly down here, but on the other side, you got Molotov chipping away at those health bars, and all of a sudden, you see knocks on both sides.
Very smart play coming in from a couple of these players in RBK, but the push is going to be coming in from AM, chucking in a couple of grenades. Push his way. It's not going to happen, though. Now 1 player left, I think, on each team. Actually, no, RBK have 2. AM are going to be down to 1, and they're going to be out in the open getting sprayed by multiple players.
Stagger Breach didn't seem to work out too well for them, but Quiet is looking to try and clean things up right now. And that man a mop, unfortunately, won't be able to pick anything else useful out of that down loot crate, but you can see RBK holding up together, getting the heels on. Might just have to be Quiet, carrying the torch.
I think at this point you just play it slow. It's like, okay, we did not come out on top in that. Let's be careful. And then RBK, I think they're smart enough just to realize let's not peek out here. We do have a couple of teams who are going to shoot down on us. So let's make sure we can just survive. There's only 7 teams left alive. I'm interested to see if Clown is still alive, actually.
He's got, unless he couldn't, I guess he couldn't outswim the circle, but he was driving around. He's been playing to the border extremely well. Big credit to Clown for getting his team this far.
Yeah, he was just clowning around, mate.
Yeah, you look at him. You can see the minimap looks like on the south side. No, maybe not. Is he still up in this?
We'll see. We'll get that.
We'll find out when I get to the big one. But either way, a lot of teams, a lot of players still occupying increasingly small territories. You see the minimap starting to shrink down. And the new circle, looks like we finally going northwest a little bit. Smoke grenades coming flying in this firefight to kick things off.
Is that straight on Chaos? No, it's not. I can't quite see who that was. It's actually landed on, but it's going to be interesting, especially here with RBK and AM.
Oh, they're going to have to move pretty quickly here. Smoke's starting to clear. Quiet. You might have to do a runner.
20 seconds. And then they're going to have to shift, and there's no cover where they are going, I think. So we'll see.
Here's TRD onto Chaos. Looking for shots behind the trees. He's got himself some nice cover on the top of this hut. Hack shot. They're going to combo up, find the down.
At this distance, it's very surprising they managed to hit those shots, but they are on point. TRD, we've seen them play very well, and they're still, I think maybe they are still a 4-man at this point, which is really impressive.
Oh, I want to see the numbers at the end of this one. They might even be top fragging.
Yeah, I mean, I think they might well be, and look at this. AM have gone out. We do see RBK push them and take him down, and we're going to be seeing them now heal up, and they're going to have to try and protect the position.
All right, a lot more fights happening. MBZ are going to lose a couple of members. Looks like a few knocks happen there as they finally encountered some opposition in this game. RBK, with the 3 remaining members, going to sneak around the side, looking for extra damage, but unfortunately they're going to get down. 1-2, no! Taken out of there. That looks like the wipe.
That was impressive. You have to give it to them on that front. Rush to crush. Doing it again. They've done it time and time, and it's a pattern. Rush to Crush and TRD have just been absolutely flatlining all their opposition. RBK close, but in quite a difficult position.
Yeah, Rush to Crush really liking those breach plays and making them work really well for him. Now you can see 7T is under fire here from the reigning members of MBZ, but they're on the wrong side of the zone, and they're going to get knocked down for the rest of it. So there it is, and they just have to leg it out into the open.
Last 4 teams right now, and the pressure is going to be on. The circle is going to get ever closer. So small. KS are in a really good position here in the top side of this circle, but they're going to be fighting up against TRD, one of the best teams so far, but TRD have got a member that is knocked. And coming up from the south side, we have a couple of teams as well who are going to be bumping heads, RBK, and one of the other teams I can't quite see there. There you go, you can see Zero here trying to spot out the players, and now he's going to try and cruel snake, as you would say.
A little sneaky. Zero going through. But unfortunately, the zone's catching up to him real quick right now, so he might be in some trouble, and he's going to be caught out in the open. Gets back up on his legs, but not before he gets put in the ground. That was Ahmed on KS. Kurt Squad taking him out.
Such a sad ending for TRD. The circle is just not in their favor. And talking about favor, Rush is on the side of this building trying to lay down his law here on the opposition KS, who are up in the hillside here behind.
There's 3 teams left right now. You've got Control still up in this one. A couple members of 17. It looks like they're going to get caught under fire, but Rush gets knocked down.
He played a risky position. He played it, and unfortunately it didn't turn out all the best for him, but he should be able to get picked up here. Fairly safe position, but KS are going to be able to revive their player as well that he had downed, if I'm right in saying. They should be able to heal up and loot a couple of bodies out of there. There is also that care package. We were talking about traps earlier. And, you know, there you go.
I mean, 3 fully staffed teams, if you will, right now. So 3 teams remaining, 12 players up. They may have varying health bars, but it's 4 on 4 on 4.
Yeah, from watching the rest of the games today and obviously sort of other PUBG Mobile tournaments, this is not something that happens too often, especially in the open qualifiers. So I think we'll be seeing a pattern with these teams and TRD as well throughout the competition, that they're going to be the last couple of teams left alive or the high flyers, unless they do get hot dropped and die very early on just due to RNG matters.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, but it's all about that consistency right now, and you can see Chaos definitely has it in spades, finding a little bit of extra damage. Onto the opposite side, Rush to Crush under fire here. But it's Desmond, he's going to get a heal up. Fortunately, no knocks for them, so Rush to Crush still can keep this going. And they're usually the ones that are the aggressors, but unfortunately they're going to have to be forced to move as they're closest to the border of the circle.
So you can see the smoke strat coming out here, but it's going to be Chaos trying to lay the fire into these buildings under Rush and Crush, and he's going to be laying the fire back.
You can see Aaron as well on the Chaos side. It really is just trades across the board. Nobody's gone down just yet. A few knocks have happened, but when you have the remainder of your team and still a decent bit of cover, it's an open circle here in Phase 7.
And
even the trees are melting.
Yeah, I mean, these smokes are going to go away, and Rush to Crush are going to be out in the open, and Chaos should be able to mow them down, but the circle is not in either one of theirs favors, so they're going to have to push against the opposition, but thanks to the slope on this road, they're going to be protected for now.
What an open circle here. Let's see who ends up rushing for it for the first time. We normally do see Rush to Crush playing so great in this game as breachers, but when they have nowhere to go, when they're out in the open, what will they do?
Apparently Snake. That is the question. They've got 2 Snakes and 2 guys hiding behind the rock. They haven't really got too many other options. And look at this. Shot's going to be coming in.
That starts the fire. Now the smoke goes down here. Rush is still going to be snaking for it for the time being, but it looks like they've turned their attention over to Chaos. Rush to Crush nearly getting knocked once more. Demu looking for even more damage here. It's Ahmed that's going to get knocked for the first. And that's on the Chaos side. Circle's going to shrink again. Molotov comes in for the Chaos members.
This is now going to be that nade war. The shot's coming in, but thanks to the angle, it's not really going to quite happen. One knock on the Chaos side is going to be it. You can see the opposition coming in.
Rush is going to get knocked down, but so is Fazal right now in serious trouble, and it's just shots traded all across the board. We finally have a fatality there. It looks like it was on the 7T side.
Which is surprising, considering they're in the pretty safe spot, apart from he did go for the trap package. And unfortunately, his body is now going to get burnt alive. And now Rush to Crush trying to take down the rest of KS. Soul Eater.
Yeah, it was Ahmed.
Head of the pack.
He's down as well right now. We're down to 9 players alive, still 3 teams available. And it looks like the healthiest are going to be Rush to Crush.
Yeah, somehow they've managed to snake themselves into this position. More shots going to be coming out, but it's going to be KS is down for, I think.
Yeah, looks like it. Lost Ebo. Another knock on the 7T. So they're almost down out of members at this point. Might just come down to Rush to Crush and the remaining members of Third Squad. Can they do it? Area 721 looking for more damage. Solitaire there. He's crawling through on his lands and knees. They don't have any time to get them up anymore.
That was such a smart play, but look at the last push here. They've got to revive one player, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. Control, looking for people.
Cass is eliminated at this point, so it's down to final 2. Rush to Crush taking on 7T team. Let's see if they can make it happen here.
5
more
people
snakes
left
going
alive.
through. 5 down. It looks like even more, and that's going to be it. 7T will take the match. So close.
So interesting. And just look at TRD. They managed to get 4 kills in total, but that top team, look at those frags, guys. That is pretty nice. That is going to be a total of 11, if I want to say. Last the math on air is not always the best, but...
no, you were correct.
Yeah.
Double checking your math. But yeah, no, this is huge right now. And I think Rush to Crush definitely can boast quite a lot of it as well. You could see in 4th place, it was TRD followed by MBZ. So, you know, a lot of those teams that it might have been a shame to see them go out a little bit at the end there because they were playing so smart, so calculated.
Yeah.
They couldn't quite keep up with the rest of the pack, but the lion's share of the frags went to these top 2.
Yeah. There was actually the top 2 teams in total. They had, I think it was 23 kills just between the top 2 teams.
That's pretty
insane.
massive.
That's almost almost a half the server, which is crazy. And
Well,
then
and we saw them in the highlights continually just going back and forth. Like Rush to Crush were pretty much everywhere. We saw 7T as well making some pretty impressive moves.
Yeah.
But what was interesting to me is we didn't see that as much out of the 3rd team, Chaos. They were much more sneaky. They were the ones that were a little bit more calculating, it seems.
yeah, it seems like they weren't able to hit as many of their shots, and when they did go for the aggressive sort of angles, they had a player who would go down, they'd have to pick him up, and they would take a lot more time to actually get themselves back up to sort of to par. But Rush to Crush, they had one person down, they didn't care. They just went and mowed down some more teams, picked them up, and then moved onwards.
Yeah, I actually thought they were going to make it at the end there, but it really was good outplay from 7T to really take it to them at the end. And, you know, impressive performance. I believe that's one of the teams representing Jordan. Interesting. So we have quite a lot of teams representing in many different countries here in the ME region.
I'm really surprised, and really happily surprised, as it were. And let's have a look at these highlights over these plays as the kills are going to be coming in. We obviously saw the push coming in from Rush to Crush, and they literally crushed this team.
Yeah, they did. There was really not a whole lot of chance for Viowar to really stand up in this one. And, you know, we could even see the one player kind of moving away when he realized he was going to get caught out, but Rush to Crush, 0 hesitation. Here's another one of our highlights here. This was Arab Madness on their breach. And then RBK, when they finally found somebody, well, they definitely got some good shots off.
Yeah, and RBK, another team to watch out for. I think we should be seeing good performances from them from future. But at the same time, it might be a bit misleading because they got themselves into a really good position, which could have just been blind luck from them, but we'll put it down to skill. So.
They just wanted to go to Dino Park, man. They were the only team that dropped down there, and they started running the entire time. Maybe the circle will favor them on the next map. Of course, we won't have another Vikendi after this.
No, yeah. It's going to be a little bit of a shame, but this is right at the end. Obviously, unfortunately, Rush to Crush were a little bit low on HP. They had a few down players. They didn't have any more smokes. They're trying to snake it out, and unfortunately, with 2 players versus 3 fairly healthy ones, they weren't able to do anything against them.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't run out of smokes faster because they were just completely peppering the last. That is a final circle that is pretty much bisected by a highway. Like, there was no cover available at all.
Yeah, and I mean, the reason why it went on for as long as it did was purely because of the highway. You could see that slope went down one side, and it allowed the combat to continue on a lot longer than it probably would have if Rush to Crush versus KS were exposed to the 3rd team there. But because of the slope, It went on for a bit longer. Rush Crush were able to get more kills. In total, it was 12 kills just for them alone, which is insane.
Not to mention the fact that they get the second place performance, so that's pretty solid stuff. Looking forward to seeing if they can keep that consistency up. Well, we are going to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be going to Miramar, so stay tuned for that. The PUBG Mobile Club Open will return.
1 year ago today, PUBG Mobile went online in over 200 countries. On the 1 year anniversary of the game, we're here with you to witness the honor and the glory. The Anniversary Royale Pass will go live as scheduled with the usual variety of rewards and a load of anniversary exclusive items, such as the brilliant anniversary outfit, the retro anniversary set, and the L&Q Chicken M762 finish. Don't miss out. PUBG Mobile, be the one. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass, you deserve it. Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1 year anniversary of PUBG Mobile, with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
Ha! Gotcha. Royale Pass. You...
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile. Be the one.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Yo, Mike, are you ready? Wait. Should I go with the UMP9 or UC?
Sun's out, guns out.
Gear up for summer.
You ready?
Okay. Well,
Ready?
sorry. I'm late.
Any plans for fall break?
Happy graduation! You made it, bro. So proud of you.
Sorry I'm late. What a day.
I hear ya.
Get
Come
this.
on!
Hey,
Watch out! Take this!
that's
Hey!
a real battleground.
Are you ready?
1 year ago today, PUBG Mobile went online in over 200 countries. On the 1 year anniversary of the game, we're here with you to witness the honor and the glory. The Anniversary Royale Pass will go live as scheduled with the usual variety of rewards and a load of anniversary exclusive items, such as the brilliant anniversary outfit, the retro anniversary set, and the L&Q Chicken M762 finish. Don't miss out. PUBG Mobile, be the one. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass, you deserve it. Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1 year anniversary of PUBG Mobile, with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
Ha! Gotcha. Royale Pass. You deserve it.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with a pen. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a #1 in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile. Be the one.
back to the spring split of the PUBG Mobile Club Open. Looking forward to seeing how it all shakes out at this one because we just saw in the ME region so much action at the end there.
Ridiculous.
Freeman, there were 3 teams up in the final circle, fully.
Yeah. You know what, Devin? I was so happy with that one. I was so hyped at the end.
Did a little
there.
chef's kiss off camera, man. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, that's good stuff. No, really excited to see how competitive this region actually can be right now, and there's a lot more games to play.
You got to give them love, especially when they're playing in for those sort of points in the sort of position. But when the top 2 teams get 23 kills combined, that's a little bit crazy when it comes in on that front. And definitely a worthwhile win from all those teams at the end there. Even if you don't come first, you get enough points in the end anyway.
Well, and the top 2 had I think you said something like 23 kills between the 2 of them. That includes Rush to Crush, who were the second place team. Of course, it was 7T that managed to finish the job. But also from Chaos, really solid performance from them. Even though they didn't pick up a lot of frags, they were able to still place incredibly high. So taking a look at it, that is Kurd Squad in 3rd place. TRD, the real deal, in the 4th. Arab Madness in 5th. That is AM, MBZ Falcons, RBK, and Just Killer. So, like, that's the way the spread works after one match. And look at how many points 7T have.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 7-point difference from first to second. It's not crazy, but it is still a big difference on that. And then Rush Across, obviously, 2 Kurd. It's an even bigger difference. It's going to be 12 points there. And then only 2 between 3rd and 4th spot. So there is room for them to be able to push up, and the gap sort of stays smaller after that as the team's got fewer and fewer kills. But you can see the kills are massive towards the top, and even, obviously, Aram Manners AM did manage to get 6 kills.
Yeah, they kind of upended the scales just a little bit there with MBC Falcons because they were able to pick up so many more kills in addition. And they were one of the teams that was going in early on, trying for those breaches along with TRD and the rest of them. And then you take a look at the rest of the standings, and now you see where everything else kind of shakes out. Executor, that's the team that had that 1 player left up. So he did manage to get his team at least 8 points just off the placement. But, of course, they got no kills since they got wiped early out. So that's all they'll get for round 1.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still something. You can keep them on the board, and if they win a single game, keep in mind that's 30 points. And it's something that I was sort of really battling with myself, the fact that kills are so, like, they're worth so much less than a placement is, that I thought we were going to be seeing a lot more sort of passive gameplay, but it's not been the case. We've seen the sort of the pushes, the aggressive plays, even from these teams that seem to know what they're doing. They have some good tactics behind them.
Absolutely. Now, that was, of course, on Vikendi, which is a pretty small map. We're going to be going into Miramar next, which is quite the opposite. A whole lot of land and a whole lot of places to drop, so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens this time around.
Yeah, we might see some cowboys with the good old Winchester. Get some spicy cross-map shots.
See how far they can actually fire them?
Yeah, back in the day, that's what we used to do when Miramar first came out, so let's see if they do it here. And it's obviously, like you said, a bigger map, and we might see a water circle here, which could land on one of the islands, which makes it very spicy when it comes to sort of the end game of the teams having to swim across and reposition themselves and the boat plays. And and especially with this being sort of positional, some people might try and opt in to just stay for the edge and go for the kills as people try to rotate across. But Miramar, good map. Let's see what they can do on it.
Yeah, switching things up, I mean, how does that really affect your mindset when you do have to swap around? Because we don't normally see, especially not in the desktop version of PUBG, we don't see Vikendi. It's a newer map anyways, but it really must change the way you approach the game, especially compared to going back to Miramar.
Yeah, Vikendi is definitely a map, like, compared to Miramar, it's a map where you can walk to compound to compound. It's got enough compounds in close proximity and trees and foliage to be able to sort of run in between. But
didn't see a lot of vehicle play, yeah.
Yeah, we saw a couple from them just trying to survive and trying to get away, but it never really worked too much. But with Miramar, you need those vehicles. You need to be able to rotate with them. If you don't, you're going to get screwed. You're going to be stuck and caught out in the open. If you try to run across an open field in Miramar, there's going to be maybe like 3 teams that are going to shoot at you. You have to have those vehicles to be able to rotate.
Yeah, so expect a little bit more of that. I wonder how well the drops will be affected as well, because we did see a pretty big concentration on Vikendi, mostly up towards the northeast side, where everybody else pretty much just had to leg it across the way. Even, you know, MBK, I think it was MBK that actually, like, or MBZ rather, that, like, ended up near the, just ended up over near Castle and everything. Yeah. And then they just kind of were able to cruise through. So I wonder how things will change this time around.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting one, though.
Yeah, it looks like we will have a little bit of a delay, though, so we will be going on a short break. And when we come back, we will have game number 2 here on Miramar, the PUBG Mobile Club Open. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, You get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile, be the one.
1 year ago today, PUBG Mobile went online in over 200 countries. On the 1 year anniversary of the game, we're here with you to witness the honor and the glory. The anniversary Royale Pass will go live as scheduled with the usual variety of rewards and a load of anniversary exclusive items such as the brilliant anniversary outfit, the retro anniversary set, and the L&Q Chicken M762 finish. Don't miss out. PUBG Mobile, be the one. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass, you deserve it. Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1 year anniversary of PUBG Mobile with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
Ha! Gotcha. Royale Pass. You deserve it.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Yo, Mike, are you ready? Wait. Should I go with the UMP9 or UC?
Sun's out, guns out.
Gear up for summer.
You ready?
Okay. Well,
Ready?
sorry. I'm late.
Any plans for fall break?
Happy graduation! You made it, bro. So proud of you.
Sorry I'm late. What a day.
I hear ya.
Get
Come
this.
on!
Hey,
Watch out! Take this!
that's
Hey!
the real battleground.
Are you ready?
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile, be the one.
1 year ago today, PUBG Mobile went online in over 200 countries. On the 1 year anniversary of the game, we're here with you to witness the honor and the glory. The anniversary Royale Pass will go live as scheduled with the usual variety of rewards and a load of anniversary exclusive items such as the brilliant anniversary outfit, the retro anniversary set, and the L&Q Chicken M762 finish. Don't miss out. PUBG Mobile, be the one. UC spent Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass. You deserve it. Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1-year anniversary of PUBG Mobile with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
Ha! Gotcha. Royale Pass. You deserve it.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Yo, Mike, are you ready? Wait. Should I go with the UMP9 or UC?
Sun's out, guns out.
Gear up for summer.
You ready?
Okay. Well,
Ready?
sorry. I'm late.
Any plans for fall break?
Happy graduation! You made it, bro. So proud of you.
Sorry I'm late. What a day.
I hear ya.
Get
Come
this.
on!
Hey,
Watch out! Take this!
that's
Hey!
a real battleground.
Are you ready?
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on a battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile. Be the one.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. We are getting ready to get into Game 2. We had a little bit of delay there, but we will be loading up pretty quickly. So, Game 1, just to recap really quickly here, Freeman, we had a really awesome end circle with 3 full health teams, and that was on Vikendi. Now we're moving on to a bigger and better map over in Miramar.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one to see how these teams sort of change their play style up from the very sort of, it's not close quarter, but it's from compound to compound you can run to one where you actually have to require a little bit more tactical style with how you approach the different zones. You have to have the vehicles. If you don't, you're going to be playing it very dangerous.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be seeing a lot more teams hot-footing and maybe lead-footing as well once they can get into those vehicles. But we should getting underway pretty soon. I'm interested to see how the teams will really adapt from Game 1, because in that first one, not only is it a map that a lot of teams might not be familiar with Vikendi being the newest one in PUBG and, of course, in PUBG Mobile as well, but you've also got the situation where they don't really know each other.
Yeah.
So now they've gotten a little bit more of the lay of the land. Maybe we'll see some of the teams that fell a little earlier on trying to adapt their style a bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we see sort of like Rush to Crush, the
7T, yeah, the winners of the first one.
If we see them in the last few as well, and even RBK and TRD, who are sort of the top teams in my mind of how they performed throughout the whole game. They had the rotations down, they had the shots on point. Even if there is aim assist in there, still takes skill. So interesting to see how they perform into Miramar, and if they're going to start using a lot more snipers instead of just the ARs and the sort of close range guns like the Micro Uzi, the UMP, the Vector.
Yeah, a lot of those teams were going for the breach strats early on. You could see AM was one of those very early that did that, but they ended up falling to RBK, and RBK kind of had this really interesting thing happen where they were set up in a couple of those 2 little huts as AM were breaching them, and basically they kind of just got this care package showered on them. They threw a quick smoke out, grabbed a little bit of extra loot out of that, and they were able to pretty much light up the members of AM. Really impressive stuff, though.
Yeah, and I mean, one of their members actually got the white ghillie throw out of it, which turns you pretty much invisible. Laid down as they were getting pushed by AM. Sprayed down, I think it was 1.5 of them, and then he was taken care of. But that damage, that initial damage, actually allowed RBK to finish off the last 3 of the members, and then left it with 1 person left in the opposite house. They were able to wipe them out, and it was a pretty easy game from there.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so looking ahead now, we've already talked about like Rush to Crush and how they have really played a lot of the breach strategy really successfully, very close to taking it out. 7T, we saw them. It seemed a bit more reactive, I think, that they were still responding to Firefight, but it didn't seem like they were the ones instigating it all that often.
Yeah, it's really strange because they obviously had the second top most kills and they even came first place, but they weren't always over aggressive plays. But let's get straight onto Miramar here, Devon. We're going to be seeing the plane cut across, and this plane path is actually really good. It's going to allow a lot of teams to spread out. Unlike Vikendi, where we saw the plane path very much on the southeastern side, this one almost going through the sort of center towards the southwestern side.
Yeah,
so it's okay.
Plenty of spots here. It'll be dropping you right absolutely there, Tom. And it looks like a couple of teams will drop out right away to kick things off, but we'll see as the rest of it goes through. Now, I was kind of curious about this one, so tell me from your expert experience, like when you're looking at teams that want to go trying to get a couple of those loot spots, do you tend to avoid these larger areas like Los Leones that have huge amounts of loot and therefore probably a lot of people that are going to be going for it, foot traffic-wise?
It's quite a difficult one to say for the open series because we've got a lot of teams that don't know each other like you were talking about earlier on, but ideally you don't want to really... Los Leones is quite an interesting one. You can actually go into that town and you don't have any early combat because it's so big that you can spread out and loot it very nicely. But otherwise, you can go for compound loot, rather.
Compound your loot.
Compound your loot, why not? Well, we don't have the compound bow or crossbow, so that's a bit of a shame. But we do actually obviously see the plane almost at the end. And talking about big places to go, El Pozo, El Azahar, some of the top west ones as well, then San Martin and Picado. But no one's gone Picado. And I think one of the reasons for that is because it's one of the hot drops. And there it comes in the circle. What do you think of that one? What do you make of it?
I like it because it's going to have El Pozo and as well as Crater Fields. I think this is going to be a pretty solid spot, especially if it ends up towards the north side. But as you pointed out, Picado, it's available. No one's actually there. And the teams don't necessarily know that that's the case right now. So the first person to stumble in there is going to be in for quite the treat.
Yeah, I mean, there can be some extra loot, and we do have teams on the edge. And we're just going to take a quick overview here on the guys. Is that Chamisera, if I'm right in saying?
Yeah, IK we're going to see as well. VW, they're going to be the first ones kind of dropping down inside. But nobody's encountered each other just yet, so as we get underway, looks like 11 teams. So unless there were some early firefights that we missed right there, we might actually have a couple of teams that didn't load in.
Yeah, a little bit of unfortunate, or they might have just not turned up. Obviously, they did have to qualify for this one, and they might have just been busy, but we'll see. Still going to be an interesting turnout for these guys, and we're obviously just going to overview here. Miramar is going to be a more of a slow pace. I don't think we're going to be seeing as many sort of early firefights or people going down as we saw before. because of the way the plane went, people were able to spread out. They're going to be able to loot up these different places, like Al Azhar, for example. These guys are in at the moment. Pretty easy for them to loot up, and they should be able to walk away from this fairly well equipped, and hopefully have enough cars. We're going to be seeing our first shots coming out.
Yeah, looks like it's JS and 70, the winners of the last round. Placement's so important in the PUBG Mobile Club Open because you get so much more than you get for kills. That's the biggest difference. 34 first place finish, only 1 point per frag. You can see 70 going in. Looks like they only have 3 other members right now. What's happened?
Yeah, it seems like they might have actually lost one person. Unless he's in a different location, we need to click onto them to be able to see who has died. AM here, one of the teams that did fairly well, did end up going down to obviously RBK, which we were discussing just before we went into.
But they were, I mean, they had 100% breach rate at that point up until they did fall down. I think Basti was a big part of that. Really wanted to give some credit to him. B52 playing very well.
And they're one of the teams that are going to have to rotate on over because they were in Los Leons, rather. And so they're going to have to push in. Circle will be coming in 1 minute, so there's still plenty of time for these guys to loot up, find a couple of vehicles, and go over into the circle.
Yeah, good plane path does mean it's a little easier for these teams to get into a nice extended loot phase. Over here on the edge of it, you can actually see MBZ. They're going to be the ones getting those off. They did a lot of running last time around.
Yeah, and so that place they're in, I call it Valle del Mar. What is it actually? Because, you know, Mr. Californian boy, you know
well, I would call it Valle de Mar, so you're very
go.
close. In fact, there's a town that I'm from that's very close to where I'm from called Del Mar itself, which literally just means of the sea. So it's a very accurate name considering where it's placed. But I think you also called it like Valley of Death at one point, didn't you?
Yeah. Luckily, the circle's not going to land down there because once you drop down into that water, you can't get back up with ease. You're pretty much going to die down there.
Yeah. We won't get a circle on that little southern island either. So that's a nice thing.
Not today.
Definitely not.
Maybe,
Well, not today on Miramar. I mean, we got 2 more maps of Erangel, so we'll see if that changes things on that map. But for now, here on Miramar. Only a couple pot shots taken, no big firefights. We're going to keep tracking some of our major teams here. Chaos, one of the ones that made it late to the end. And here's what you're talking about with vehicle play. IK going to go on a bit of an off-road trip.
As the Miramar, the car that
oh no!
Very easy. As I say that, they do actually flip the vehicle, but
they 360'd
it. They don't care. Like, flip the car is all part of the tricks.
Calculated.
He's the Tony Hawk of Marauders, as they were called. So those cars are really fast, but they're really bad off-road. So like you saw, he did just tip very easily. They haven't got too much weight to them. Their handling is not fantastic off-road. You need something like the buggy or the motorbike to be able to do that. Either way, they're going to be able to get to that position, and we do still have this sort of mini sort of contention area over in El Pozo between these 2 fairly good teams, to be fair.
Yeah, JS and our last round winner 70. Here's Viwar, VW. They were the team that got down pretty early on, actually, to AM, if I recall correctly, in the last map. They're going to be doing a bit of split looting across the way through there, but not too far off. That's the nice thing. TRD, going to keep eyes on the other team across the board here. So most of these teams that are kind of rubbing shoulders for now, it's almost a bit of a gentleman's agreement. They don't need to go in for any breaches. They don't need to do anything crazy just yet because there's so much room to work with.
Yeah, I mean, the earlier on you go in for a fight, the more likely you're going to die because you don't have the full equipment. Your team may not be in the right position. So it's about choosing your battles, and it seems like all of these teams are learning to do that correctly. And we're actually going to be seeing it from the opposite side now. So TRD are getting that elevation. They do have a motorbike behind that building, so they can rotate if they need to. But they should be inside the circle, only just though.
Couple shots laying down there, but we didn't see anybody getting hit. So, 70, as you mentioned, the opposite side of El Pozo here. There's plenty of loot to go around. There's so many of these tall buildings at this point that there's really no need to go any far forward. There's going to be the first knock. You can see Rowan and Wolf already getting downed. Wow, Zero really stepping it up here. It looks like he gets the elim.
Yeah, this position is fantastic from DRD. They've got the elevation. They've also got the position, and Zero is going to go up behind them. Mustafa trying to get the angle on them, but it's not quite working.
Yeah, you can see Rowan on AK. They're going to be able to get back up. So there are a couple of fights on a few different fronts happening here as Hogru did get knocked. TRD sending Zero around the side. You can already see IK actually rotating away from this. They don't want this fight.
Well, they shouldn't. We actually saw a couple of their members there, and they look very unequipped. I think 2 of their members don't even have a backpack at this stage, so I'm not quite sure where they've been throughout this whole looting phase, because they've not been up to much in regards to actually being able to pick up weapons and the bags, and that guy looked like he was wearing a skeleton costume, which was a bit funky. But here we go, back down to the Valley of Death, as it were. These guys should be able to loot up fairly easily. They're not going to be contended anytime soon.
This is the second map in a row that MBZ have dropped into a completely uninhabited area. I almost feel like they like playing PvE.
PvE, well, more like PvE nothing, because apart from the land.
Yeah, I guess technically the environment can mess you up if you drive into a rock or something. You know, that's where it can really start to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, especially on a map where you have to be driving around because you can't exactly run around too much. You can. People will challenge me on that. You definitely can if you want to try and risk it for a biscuit, but hopefully they're not going to do that. So
a bit dry and dusty, that biscuit here on Miramar.
Exactly. Yeah, not exactly everyone's favorite. I'm really interested to see when we're going to be seeing the snipers come out. And talking to snipers, that isn't one. That is a micro Uzi, and we're back over towards this fight.
It's not going to be that accurate at those long ranges. You can see them already trying for the peak. IK, it seems like they just wanted to hold up as early as they can right now. I mean, they're well within the boundaries of the circle. Pretty easy for them to do at the early stages of this game. Everybody that was outside, they've just been moving ever since anyhow.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how the next one actually favors through. Now, interesting enough, Hackshot's actually not with this team. He's driving about. And you can see this is AXT, the team that got, 3K'd earlier on in this first map, finding themselves with just about everybody. Clown still separated from the team.
I think that's just like how he plays. It's like, you guys go ahead. If you die, don't worry, I'll get you 9th place.
By design. I mean, placement is so important in this.
Yeah. I think, they got 9th position, which is pretty good. I think it was 8 points, so
yeah.
It's always everything adds up together.
There we go, Rush to Crush. This is a second place team from the last time around. They're going on a bit of a road trip themselves. Turn up the music, keep it nice and easy. By Hacienda.
One thing I would definitely comment on is that they're driving with all 4 members in a single vehicle. And, oh, look, tasty.
Ooh, right out in the open. It's going to release that smoke.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone...
It's right in the middle near San Martin right now. Honestly, there's 2 teams in the area, but one of them's moving away and one of them's moving towards.
Yes, okay, I should be able to go for that. And that circle shift is fantastic. Goes away from the bottom and away from the hillside. The main focus of near La Julia, if I can try and brutalize that. There you go.
I think. I don't know. I mean, my Spanish is definitely not all that great. I haven't lived in San Diego for a number of years, so I can tell you Deutsch a little bit better, but that is not the language spoken on Miramar for sure. Yeah. Now, that does really actually favor the teams that were facing off, JS and 7T, that were over there in the top left corner. But there's a couple of unoccupied towns and settlements that will probably be a pretty big haven for these teams going forward.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they have to sort of let go of those positions and push in, because that's one of the things with Miramar, especially sort of early on within sort of obviously the competitive scene within PUBG Mobile, where we are at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see how they develop these metas in an open qualifier. Oh, and we do actually see a kill.
Yeah, kill comes down through. But it's just a handful of shots. This is not even like last game where we'd see a couple of squad fights, and then one team would get wiped, and then usually one team would maybe lose somebody or get one knock, and then they get it back up. This is very little action, and I think it really does speak a lot to the map difference.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to what I was talking about, where on Vikendi you can... Oh, never mind, let's talk about this. KS.
Yeah, Evo's already downed here. Now you can see Rush to Crush. They've already got one member knocked down, and it looks like he might lose his life as well. That's Ahmed on the KS side, so the fights come through, and now it's Tupac even finding it onto Ahmed. That's one down. Rush to Crush. This is a team that was second place last time around. They're in danger. Getting knocked out a lot earlier here. Trying to go for the down, and Rush to Crush. He gets taken out of this one. That's an entire wipe.
Yeah, I think it was actually. And the KS somehow still going to be able to stay alive here, even with, I think it's 2 down members, maybe even 3. And he just went for the one he was almost about to take out and end up dying. So this is really good news for these guys. And they do have an Orm, so doing that far range damage is going to come out. But going back to the point I was saying earlier is within Vikendi, it's compound to compound. It's a lot easier for the combat to come and flow through as they burst through the doors. On this one, it's the fact that when you approach new areas, you are going to have to try and drive up to them or approach at a very slow rate via running or rotations. And talking about rotations, we're going to be seeing the good old hippie bus here. Yeah,
well, that's MBZ. You know, they're continuing their trend of not really seeing anybody until the final minute, just keeping a pace of the blue.
And they didn't even pick up that buggy. I do... It does frustrate me when I see people not picking up an extra vehicle, because it really does help with these rotations if you're not going to keep everyone in one vehicle. Because if that car gets blown up, although saying that, the minibus is very, very durable, but it's very open, so if you do get shot at, you are more likely to get shot.
I mean, it's a nice little caravan for them because they're just traveling around the entirety of the map. We saw them do the same thing on Vikendi. These guys are actually touring.
Yeah, they're just tourists. They don't even know about the combat that's going on. They'll drive into El Pozo and be like, ah, what's going on?
This is not a safe area. I did not get a travel advisory for this place.
Where did we walk into? But talking of which, this is El Pozo.
Yeah, but this is the safest spot on the map right now because neither 7T or JS actually want to fight. I mean, JS, they stand for Just Survive. They tried to do that last time around, but they weren't able to pull it off, and they actually went out pretty early. But now, they're in a nice, safe spot. They've got a great building defense, get some good high ground here. We'll actually also move over to another side of the map, and we can see VW kind of having their own space.
Yeah, this is over at Power Plant, actually. And it's quite an interesting part of the map. There's a lot of defilades and areas, and also packages, apparently. This is the second one that's landed in around this area, and that MK14 is the upgraded version of the STS. And
got another fight going on, though. It's Mustafa getting a lot of work done right now. He actually gets 2 members of IK downed. And it's a 3-man squad right now on that side. They want to pick up as many of those as they possibly can. Now let's see where the next circle goes. Looks like it's going to go just south of El Paso, centering on Monte Nuevo.
yeah, and there's actually going to be a big open field here, so we're going to be seeing people focusing in around this crater area and in towards El Pozo. Quite a lot of teams might try and go in for the buildings. Not always the correct approach, because it's going to be quite busy, and as you approach, the teams that are situated there ready are going to be able to shoot at them. But we do see here, GS, they're actually in a building which allows TRD to be able to approach into one of these barns, position up, and be inside the next circle.
So maybe not always the optimal if you're trying to stop a lot more teams advancing. They've been playing pretty pacifistic for the most part. BW going to encounter a couple of opponents as well, and now you can see some vehicle splitting coming out from AM. Looks like one of them said, hey, wait, don't leave without me.
Yeah, they're listening to me right now because they're trying to split up the vehicles, but apparently one of his teammates doesn't care at all.
Okay, meanwhile, back over to the standoff, you can see TRD looking for this breach. They're actually on the base floor already of JS's building. And let's see if TRD, they're pretty solid at breaching the last time around. See if they can make this happen and take out the JS players. I'm not sure if they know they're there. Oh, now they do. One down onto Mehmet.
Very similar situation as before, and I think it seems like TRD are going to be able to get those shots on and try and play the aggressive approach from below.
All right, so with Mehmet already knocked, he's in a relatively safe spot, though, for the rest of the team to try and res him up. There goes the smoke.
And I think that was actually an M24 from TRD that did land onto one of the GS players, I think on the second to top floor. And TRD slowly making their way up, but not too aggressively at the same time. They're just trying to clean out every single room so they don't get backstabbed here. And GS SWAT is just watching from above with the grenade of doom.
And he'll have the peek on for sure. Question is, can he come down to the execution they need? You can see Rip over here trying to peek through the smoke and see if he can find an opening on the opposite side. But TRD, they're not showing a man. And here's Hackshot, chucking Molotovs up through the window.
He wants to burn the place down, and it's actually going to be Rip, who had the M24, but he's going to get taken down by one of the other members here.
Mehmet's going to go for a run here.
And he's going to have to
check out the smoke
quickly.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the grenades from TRD are going to be coming in, and also the snipers. I think it's Zero who has got the M24. He's just aiming up there, landing in these shots. He's knocked one, and now TRD should just be able to push up. They should push on that knock.
Well, looks like there's another fight happening. Rip's actually going to lose a man because meanwhile, one of the 17 members realized that he was out in the open, so they're getting sandwiched between two. Mehmet taking a whole lot of shots as well. Rip is already out of this one. It's a 3-man squad now. And the same's true for 7T, it looks like.
Yeah, it seems like one of their guys didn't connect or got run over very early on. We'll have to see that, but the grenades are coming in, and look at that knock.
Prada, he's already down. It's going to be Death Zone that managed to get him, so the rest of TRD are going to start making moves for it. Let's see if SWAT can actually take him down as this breach comes up through the window, through the door. He's just watching and waiting. Not a single movement. Zero, though. He gets knocked as well. Not 100% safe for TRD.
Yeah, they are now going to get third-partied here by another team, and it's actually going to be Hackshot who jumps out of the window, says, never mind that. Take that damage. Some shots going to be coming out. I'm not sure what
they're going to have to get inside the building, though, before they get Zero up.
Yeah, they have to be careful on this front. They only have a couple of members from GS to worry about, so picking this team member up should be fine. SWAT is just holding this with the third person, Agul. Because obviously this is playing in third person, not first person. If it was, completely different game.
Yeah, it really changes quite a bit.
Yeah.
I can see myself, and a lot more.
Exactly, yeah, you can play these angles, and that's where we'll see players playing with shotguns and Uzis a lot more often.
Okay, rest of the team's going to start making a break for the crater as well as the next circle does come in, encompassing most of it, but also still a little bit of the south side of El Pozo there. So this fight will continue unabated. 17 is in such a great position despite not having a man from, early on if he didn't load in or if did get run over. Still, they've been completely safe. And remember, this is the team that's holding on to the top spot at the moment. And with Rush to Crush being eliminated so early, the rest of the points are really up for grabs.
Yeah, how would you feel if you're Rush to Crush at this point? You come second, you have the highest amount of kills, you're in contention for that first place, and then you die.
In like 11th place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not so great. There are 2 more maps to play after this, right? It is all about establishing that consistency, but it is a big disappointment to go out so early. And it looks like JS, they might be as well. Oh. MBZ have joined the fray. Third party's coming in hot.
But TRD have actually backed away from that fight. And we're going to be seeing a slightly different one here.
Yeah.
AT and AM.
Yeah, AM. Let's see if they can get him. They have a little bit of high ground, but they did already have one knocked. And a little bit of damage here. You can see Lord. They're already down to 3.
Yeah, I mean, they're not actually all together either. One of their players is slightly off, and we're going to be skipping back.
It wasn't Clown, interestingly enough. He actually rejoined the team.
is joining in for the fight. So this is now going to be a 3-party fight, and MBZ have actually joined in through the bottom.
Yeah, KS got Mustafa knocked down. That's actually huge. He was one of the big fraggers, but he still managed to get some damage onto Ahmed on the opposite side. Look at all that. He gets another knock onto Ebo. Aries going to get Tomb down as well and take him out.
And this is going to be quite interesting. So they're going to be launching themselves over to one of these hay bale sections or into a crevice. Let's see what goes on here.
Oh, this fight just keeps on going right now. JS still holding on the high ground. You can see there's the drop down from Mehmet right now. TRD, though, are they going to be able to take this finisher? You can see already getting some damage off, but it's onto the MBZ members as they've joined to turn around on the third party themselves. JS dropping, trying for run for it, but it's Zero. That narrow zeroes him out.
Such a good play from JS rather, but it just didn't work out as the idea here. And they're ready to punish them. Zero coming in, playing the hero's spot and taking down a member, but unfortunately didn't grenade to do the follow-up and finisher.
It's only SWAT that's healthy. He does manage to get Prada back up on his feet, and Mehmet, if they can make it happen. They still got 3 members. Remember, Rip was down earlier on. However, they managed to get outside that top floor of the building and get around to the back. But they got to be careful because the Blue's creeping up on them.
Yeah, and the next circle may well just shift really hard away from them, and they're going to have to move quite fast. So they are going to be able to heal up here, use a couple of first aid kits, get the stims on, and be able to heal up. But unfortunately, the circle is going to be coming in. The Blue's going to hit them, and unfortunately, it may well just do too much damage.
Prada's going in solo. Mehmet and SWAT are actually just hanging around the backside of this one right now. We'll see. Prada, he's in a huge amount of trouble right now as he does get knocked down, and it looks like you can see a couple of third parties, TRD, coming in to get some extra damage onto the other JS members. Death Zone just hanging outside of the Death Zone.
Not even quite sure what he was doing there charging in, but it did quite well, and now Death Zone going to be peeking up through this window at any moment.
Ah, that's going to be the rest of JS. They held up for as long as they could, but it looks like they go out in 7th place right now. 6 teams remaining as we are still in play zone 5. It's going closer and closer to the next one, though, as the zone continues to creep forward.
Ooh.
Death Zone needs to find a safe spot to hang out.
Yeah, talking about the Death Zone, he's trying to go back into the zone, which is quite literally killing them chunk by chunk. I think doing about 10 damage per second, which is absolutely huge there for him. He has to be careful. And then switch on over to these couple of teams. We're going to be seeing the overview with the snipers as well from AM, who won that fight earlier.
Yeah, and it's great for VW that they've lasted this long because they were one of the teams that got completely eliminated early on in the last time, and they've managed to avoid a lot of fights. AM can't really get in for the easy breach anymore. It's a big open area, and you can see some G-Man's got his sights trained on them. And it looks like Bashi's going to start, though, by taking down Meta.
Distance spray coming out, but I am really happy with being able to see more DMR usage. I'm not too surprised, and also the sniper, that's going to be an M24 knocking down one of the VW players.
They just don't seem to have the same execution level.
Yeah,
trying to hide behind some of these trees, but that is sparse cover, if any, right now. So it's already 1 taken out, 1 knocked, 2 members different healthy at this point, but they've got to make tracks right now because the Blue Zone just passed them by.
Yeah, no, they're definitely dead at this point, but they have just denied them potentially 2 points if they die to the blue here, which is always useful for your opposition, because I don't know what VW are looking to hope to achieve unless the last player here does make it in, and that's going to be an AWM for Basti.
Oh boy, and that is going to be dangerous. Basti was one of the big fraggers last time for AM Squad until they met their cruel fate up against the RBK members, but this time they managed to get themselves a little package from the sky. Let's see how this circle will continue to close in here. Firefight's coming. AXT got to be careful. AM right hot on their backs, and Lord is going to take down B52. That's a knock on one of the stronger members of AM.
That was a really good shot for them. I have to give them props, and they need to make it inside this building, but Rotal is going to go down to Basti. We're talking about him being one of the better players, and he proves it. Looking in for another. Actually, he's going to go in for the finish. That's an extra point for them at least. He's got that AWM on his back. He's going to try and heal up here, and now they're going to have to try and push in against Lord and Clown.
Speaking of on their backs, this is a team that seems to be great at playing right up against the edge of the zone. Let's see if they can manage to breach into it right now. Lord is trying to hold down the fort on the opposite side, but the smoke's obscuring a lot of his vision here. A couple of members still of that squad up and available. You can see a couple of teams still down a few members. VW do have one player available, just barely is hanging in there. But it looks like it's going to be one of those placement matches where he just tries to hide safe as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah, so an important thing to note is Lord has no helmet, so he can get one-tapped by those DMRs. And talking about DMRs, this is actually a sniper. It's going to be the AWM.
Basti's train on 17. They've been able to avoid so many casualties this game, playing so safe. I don't think they've hardly left that building.
I don't think they've got any kills, though. So this is going to be pretty disappointing. They have to go for the first place at this point, or kill the rest of their team, the players. They can only get, what, 13 more kills, max?
Yeah.
So they could obviously do better, but that's very unlikely to happen. Circle will be coming in very soon, and it's going to be pushing them all.
Finally, 70 have to move.
Yeah, and they should be going in for that boxing ring, I would potentially say. Well, actually past it. They're going to have to go in for the building where AXT are. Lord has no helmet. Clown is pretty weak as well. This team...
Hackshot gets knocked. Mustafa did a great job on that one. That's one of the TRD members. They barely have lost anybody this game. Meanwhile, Basty's still kind of hiding out, camping behind this rock. He's running himself out of room pretty quickly, though. And TRD, they're going to go in. Hackshot should get rezzed up.
Yeah, it's going to be seeing 70 under fire, losing a player potentially. TRD are going to be able to pick up Hackshot, but he's going to be a little bit lower. Hickshot is inside this building, but it's not going to stop there. They're going to have to carry on pushing over towards VW and also VXT and 70.
All right, everyone's going to have to start making runs for it here. 70. It's really not a whole lot of cover between the rest of these team. AXT manages to have a little bit. Mustafa does get downed. Basti takes him down there. So many great shots coming out of Basti today. And he's going to get another one. He finishes it off on a Mustafa.
I have to give him props. He's using the AWM to its full use. And look at this close combat.
Lord running through. They didn't get down just yet, but it looks like they're going to take a few members with him there. You could see Clown was still up in this one, and he does manage to find one of the members of 7T. Finishes the job as well. An extra point for AXT. 17 down to 2.
Yeah, if he can stay alive, that'd be fantastic.
Oh, the last VW member. Oh, he gets the down on a Mustafa. Takes him out.
That was so unfortunate for them, and he's going to be able to carry on his livelihood.
They're going to place top 5. I mean, VW, after the last round when they barely got a placement, this is so much better for them.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good. I mean, they had to literally run across the open, and they weren't able to get any shots on the opposition, but somehow this one player made it through, got themselves to the 5th place in this package.
There's another package coming in. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to grab it, though. Hackshot trying to find the damage onto the 17 member. He does manage to find it down. So dangerous, this situation right now. It's just an all-out firefight across the road. Quiet gets the knock.
And TLD trying to pick up that player. It's going to be very difficult. AXT going to be going in for the shots as well. 7T going to be an opposing force as well. Basti up with that AWM in the hillside. He's going to have to push in, but it's going to be TLD. Depth zone. Getting a frag and covering his teammates.
They just cover each other's back so well right now. Hackshot maybe knocked, but the rest of the team's still healthy, and they can always come in there, throwing down the smoke, getting the res back up. 7T down to 1 member. Zone encroaching very quickly. They'll have to make moves for it. And how about this? The AM squad are playing on the knife's edge with 3.
And I mean, why not? They've even got a vehicle here, so if and when they do need to crash, they can do it. Even if they only send one person down that vehicle, they can use that as a distraction. And talking of which, they're going to send one person down.
Yeah, it looks like it now. Lord is going to take a couple of pot shots their way right now, but it does seem the rest of the teams are kind of blind to what AM are trying to do. Lord just trying to pick up as many points remaining for his team. There are 2 players left on the AXT side as they managed to sneak out 8 points in placement last time around. We'll see if they can do it with a couple of extra shots.
And he has got this M24 trying to take these shots at the distance. Wasn't quite working. Depth zone trying to push a bit closer whilst his teammates are healing up. This last member, I think it is, of 7T, just hiding that hut, just trying to stay alive in the circle, has popped in. And we're going to be seeing it in favor of a couple of teams. And it's only actually 2 teams. VW and AXT going to be inside the zone. So they're going to get pushed here. And that's another crate outside AXT's building.
You can see 2 of the members of AM actually went down just on foot. The remaining 2 kind of hanging out by this car. Looks like they'll be ready to come in with the vehicle in just a moment. Yeah, TRD playing on the edge.
Yeah, they'll get covered by their teammates. And obviously 17 going to have to try and push it there. It's going to be difficult. That vehicle rotation did come in.
Oh, Lord gets quiet. It's an explosion. He takes out Molotov as well. That's going to be a 2K right there. Now, Momad's going to get down, and that's the end of VW.
Out in the 5th place, and TRD going to be pushing in, but AXT trying to take down AM, but behind.
Clown's found too many people here. AM, V52 does get taken out by Clown, though, before it all ends, and Basti will finally get dropped. No more snipes for him at this point, and it's just an all-out fight to the finish, down to 2 teams, 5 players alive. It looks like it's TRD, 4 members strong, which means they should take this. 7T trying to take as many down as he possibly can. It's Reef.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what he's going to try and achieve here. It's going to be very difficult.
Good use of cover, though, but he's running out of room right now. Reef, he's going down, and TRD with 4 players managed to take it in first.
I don't know if you saw, but 7T, the last player that had some bunny ears on as a helmet, and he was literally a hair caught in the crosslights, headlights there.
Wow.
You know,
I mean,
in normal PUBG, I couldn't slip that one in, but thanks to the wonderful customization of PUBG Mobile, they bring in all these extra jokes you can do.
Like, I don't want to smile, but I can't help myself. It was a terrible joke, but it was so good in that it was
Look at 7T, though. They managed to get into 2nd place, which is really impressive, and they didn't really get many kills, so even more impressive sort of play.
Well, I mean, they played so much more pacifistic. They didn't have to leave their building hardly till the very end. Everyone came to them, and all of a sudden the sky started falling. So things really changed up at the end there. But great job by TRD. They were pulling so many breaches, super active on the map, win every firefight, and the best part was they played no man left behind.
Yeah, they played it right to the wire, picked up their teammates multiple times. So when they did eventually go down, it was a little bit more painful. Clown blowing up that car at the end there was fantastic play from
great job AXT.
Yeah. They went from a position in 9th with only one person having to go for the placement. They went all the way into what? 3rd place, I think it was? Or
third or 4th, yeah. I mean, that's really good
that's
for AXT because they had a really rough start to this on Vikendi, but here on Miramar, they really made a lot more work for them. But, you know, I loved watching TRD play. Like, you know what they stand for? It's the real deal, and they definitely proved it this time around.
Yeah, I mean, we were really impressed by them last game. I called them out for being one of the teams that we'd see in the top sort of 4 to 5 in this game or the next couple.
They just got taken out in some of that mid-game firefight.
Yeah,
that was really it.
They were just caught in the sort of crossfire here between a couple of teams. And this time around, they had the position in. They came into El Pozo from, I think it was the northern side, and they're able to take on, sort of entering into a building and get some frags.
And here was another team I wanted to talk about as well, KS, early on. They did have, you know, a couple of knockdowns. That was Rush to Crush. They got taken out really early, the team that was placing second on Vikendi here. And they just, you know, really, they rushed, but they got crushed, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean, they're one of the teams that I really wanted to see pushing forward, but unfortunately that pushing did get them railed down. And Basti got to be probably my MVP, actually, for the way he was playing there. It was really some really good shots.
That's another team we wanted to highlight. Just overall, the last 2 maps have done really well, especially on aggressive plays. And this time utilizing high ground. AM doing a great job in splitting it out. Unfortunately for them, well, they had one Lord on their backs.
Lord, we actually got to see it from his perspective, and there you go. There's the hair caught in the headlights, and he's dead.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do there when you're 1v4. I mean, the best you can hope for is maybe taking a couple down with you, but you know, I mean, we have seen some sick 1v4s, but not when you're the last man standing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was some really good play from these teams. TRD, I just want to say congratulations once again. You're going to be jumping up the scoreboard here. I don't think they got as many kills as we saw last game, but it's a completely different play style, and they played it very well. And when they did need to come into the compounds and actually fight, they went all the way from one side of El Pozo all the way to the other, and it worked out fantastic for them.
Not only that, they played third parties incredibly well. They noticed as soon as a team like MBZ came in, they're like just kind of melting away into the shadows, and then JS turned their sights on MBZ, and they said, guys, it's okay. You know, we don't have to get the frag kills. We'll just wait for them to take each other out.
Yeah, it was actually MBZ. They actually shot a little bit too early. They joined in the fray and gave away their position, so TRD were like, hang on a minute.
I think they were a bit keen. They'd been running across the map the whole time, so they didn't really have a whole lot of chances. Guns a-blazing, that doesn't always work.
Yeah, they backed away from the fight, went into a slightly different building, different angle, came out on top, and ended up wiping both of the teams, and then won the game.
Yeah, well, that was it. So we're about halfway done. We got 2 more maps. It's going to be Erangel coming up next, and we'll be going on a short break, but don't you go anywhere because the PUBG Mobile Club Open will return in just a few.
One year ago today, PUBG Mobile went online in over 200 countries. On the 1-year anniversary of the game, we're here with you to witness the honor and the glory. The Anniversary Royale Pass will go live as scheduled with the usual variety of rewards and a load of anniversary exclusive items, such as the brilliant anniversary outfit, the retro anniversary set, and the L&Q Chicken M762 finish. Don't miss out. PUBG Mobile, be the one. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass, you deserve it. Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1-year anniversary of PUBG Mobile, with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
Ha! Gotcha. Royale Pass. You deserve it.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Yo, Mike, are you ready? Wait. Should I go with the UMP9 or UC?
Sun's out, guns out.
Gear up for summer.
Ready?
Okay. Well,
Ready?
sorry. I'm late.
Any plans for fall break?
Happy graduation! You made it, bro. So proud of you.
Sorry I'm late. What a day.
I hear ya.
Get
Come
this.
on!
Hey,
Watch out! Take this!
that's
Hey!
the real battleground.
Are you ready?
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile. Be the one.
1 year ago today, PUBG Mobile went online in over 200 countries. On the 1 year anniversary of the game, we're here with you to witness the honor and the glory. The Anniversary Royale Pass will go live as scheduled with the usual variety of rewards and a load of anniversary exclusive items, such as the brilliant anniversary outfit, the retro anniversary set, and the L&Q Chicken M762 finish. Don't miss out. PUBG Mobile, be the one. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass, you deserve it.
And welcome back once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. I'm still Pyrotechnics. He is still We Free Men, and yes, that is right, he is multiple men. I wasn't aware of this,
Plural.
but he's actually just 2 dudes in a trench coat. But he's a pretty good caster all the same. And we've had some pretty good matches already on Vikendi and on Miramar here, Tom. But now we're moving on to Erangel.
Yeah, and it's going to be the default, the birthplace of PUBG is on that map.
The original.
The OG, you may want to say. But yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting one, and yeah, obviously plural of me might need that for the amount of action that's going on in these games so far. I mean, AM coming through with amazing plays. Basti, one hell of a player to keep an eye out for.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Like, he was just picking people off from a distance left and right. I love the way that they did a split when they finally had to get out of the zone, out of the top at the very end there on Miramar. But it was an incredible explosion there from the AXT member. I believe it was Lord that actually took him down at the end, getting that 2K, and that was honestly really great for the AXT side because they, remember, had to get into the 9th spot with just Clown kind of sneaking around the edge there in that first map on Vikendi. A little bit of unlucky downs early on. Yeah,
and he did actually survive through to the last 2 members. It was Lord and Clown who left over. Neither one of them had any helmets. I don't think they had many meds left, and they were running a bit low on bullets. But when it comes to the sort of blowing up that car, it was really good for them. Unfortunate for AM because that sort of split was actually fantastic from them. It wasn't low-level plays. It was actually some thought had gone into it, and that's what we want to be seeing going into Erangel, where these guys should be used to playing because this map has been right out from the beginning on PUBG Mobile. Yeah. So these guys should be well-versed and should have done their research. Even on the way the players play on PC, they should reflect some of that into this.
I think you're right. And also looking at some of the teams that didn't have so hot of a performance on Miramar but looked good on Vikendi, looking at Rush to Crush, who got knocked out very early on in a firefight. I believe it was with VW, actually, who placed a lot better this time around. So the power will kind of shift a little bit. Placement is so important in this. You get so many more points, 30 for a first-place finish, 22 for second, and only 1 kill per frag. But even so, our top teams have been fragging out. It's not all about that pacifist style play. They have been really getting themselves into it hot and heavy. 17 managed to get into 2nd place position, so they still maintain a huge amount of points. But TRD, how about that performance from them on Miramar with all 4 alive? They did not give up on anybody. They just kept rezzing. They kept moving out of the third parties.
And what are they called?
The real deal.
They definitely were that game.
Finger guns. And you only ever see me do that a million more times. But yeah, no, they played so well. I mean, it really was impressive. The coordination from them. It's not something you always see out of the teams because, as you mentioned, it's an open club game. It's a lot of squads that we may not have seen together for a long time. These guys clearly know what they're doing on a communication level.
They've put the time into not research the opposition. There's not going to be many teams here they could do, but they may well have done the sort of practice games, the scrims against these oppositions. They've also learned the maps, how they push in. For example, in El Pozo, they pushed in from the sort of northwestern side. They came in through a building. We sort of entered before the break on this topic, but I think it's important to bring it back as we're going into Erangel, which has got similar properties to Miramar in the way it's played, but obviously a little bit different in regards to the rotations. But they went into this building, they took down 1 member, then they backed out when they were shot out by one of the teams, waited, very passive style, the MBZ.
Yeah, they were the ones that came in kind of guns a-blazing as they were halfway across the map and just sort of drove through it.
in the happy camper van, they just pushed all the way through, and unfortunately they got taken out by TRD, who then finished off JS as well. But moving onwards, this is a fantastic playing path on the 3rd map here, going into Erangel. Really beautiful. We're going to be seeing a lot of teams being able to spread out into all their favorite position. I don't think we're going to be seeing too many teams clash early on. If we do, then I think that's going to be purely down to it being in these sort of open series and these teams not quite used to each other's positions and where they want to drop.
Yeah, well, it was a really slow start to the last one because the teams did seem to split out a lot more on Miramar. But here on Erangel we go for game number 3. We'll be on this map as well for the final one after this. But to kick things off, great playing path, as you mentioned, really just going almost due south from the north, and teams starting to split a little bit off up in the north side. A couple of teams heading maybe a little bit south of the shooting range, and a few more kind of taking their time. You could see AM there dropping straight into the center.
Yeah, IK are trying to sort of rotate and sort of fly over towards Yasnaya, which is one of the better cities to be able to loot up and move through. It's a lot of buildings. We do have 2 teams heading over towards Georgeville, 1 team north and 1 team south, it seems like. Can't quite see exactly.
Is anybody going to drop military base?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
there we go.
Team 8 there, the KS team, will be able to drop
that.
Oh,
and VW. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so it's always a bit of a spicy bet there if you think that you're going to get a military circle out of this one. But a couple of teams will be in the area to be able to get down to that south. And VW really splitting out. Look at that. They actually are going to go for a split loot. And there's your circle. It is going to encompass the island, but also a decent bit of the east.
Yeah, and one thing we did actually miss there is AM and TRD are both in Pochinki. We saw something like this very much, sort of very similar in the PUBG sort of Face It Championship that happened very early on, where Pachinki was going to be contested by a couple of different teams, and they just would not back off, and they ended up punishing each other where it came to sort of trying to be able to go in for the rotations and not actually die straight away. But so we'll have to see if one of the teams does give it up as we go into this next sort of phase of the game here.
Yeah.
TRD and AM.
Well, two of the big finalists last time around, and we're also going to turn our attention over to Rush to Crush. They looked like they were one of the teams that went, I believe you said, over by George Pool?
Yeah.
All right, so they're not entirely alone, but for the moment, they kind of do have the run of this little area out in the open by all of the shipping containers. And it looks like we're also going to have eyes on IK here. And they're going to be not alone, but 7T played super pacifist last time, so I don't think they're in too much danger to kick things off.
Yeah, we do know one thing with the KI is that once they get pushed, they kind of just, like a turtle, shrink back into their shell and just try and survive it by not playing any sort of aggressive positions, which is similar to a few other teams like JS as well. I mean, JS eventually jumped off the top of the building last game, but it was a little bit too little too late, and that's very similar to KI. There's a couple of teams there who just don't know how to play aggressive when they're getting pushed.
Speaking of aggressive, though, I mean, when you have TRD facing off against AM early on, I mean, that's going to be a pretty hefty one, and I think neither of these teams is super keen to go out. 12 teams still alive. It looked like there was a couple that didn't quite load into the game once more, but the teams that have been performing well, not among them, of course. Up on the top side, you can see B52 trying to sneak out, see what he can see, but there is the rest of TRD well hidden here, a couple buildings back.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of loot they have got here. And we will be seeing a lot more sort of use of the DMR on this map, especially. We saw it in in Miramar and the use of the sniper rifles. There's a lot more of a distance sort of plays compared to Vikendi, where people are playing a lot more closer and just with the spray and pray guns. We are in crates with KS at the moment. They're trying to loot up. I think they've got a vehicle on one of their players there. In the background, I think it was 180. We switch on back over towards Pachiki. Some shots now going to be coming in. AM, B52 does go down. Molotov is going to be able to pick him up. Zero doing some sweet shots there from a distance.
Yeah, that's what happens sometimes. You peek a little bit too often. You find yourself on the wrong end of a shot, and he does have Molotov there to get him back up off of his feet, so not too worried to kick things off here, but got to be careful. TRD, they didn't win that last round for nothing, and they did it with everybody still alive. It is so hard to take out members of this team because they will find an answer back. B52 very low here. Molotov going to look for some answers on to Zero, but he gets downed immediately.
This is just such a fantastic play coming in from TRD. They've got all their sort of off angles covered, and say if one of them's going in for a rotation, another player's got those players locked down, and now you can see them collapsing in on these players who've been down. They've got low HP, they have got the high advantage, but they've not got the health advantage. Shot's going to come in.
Molotov going to get down once again. It's Hackshot, finds the knock on him, and Pachinki definitely continues to be a hot zone, but only for these two teams. A lot of points riding on this for them because nobody wants to go out early down below the 12th place position. AM already starting to lose people, but they have split out quite well. You can see Quiet's going to have to get out of there, vacate that floor because it was on fire from the Molotov.
He's going to be able to get away here, but jumping out that window will be the death of him, so he has to be careful. TRD, though, he's pushed up on top of these buildings. He's now equaled the playing field, as it seems like AM have backed away from on top of these buildings and just accepted the loss of, I think it was Molotov, who did go down and die. So Quiet and Basti have to be very careful here, as they may well get pushed by Death Zone and Hackshot.
We did see AM play pretty well in Miramar with only 3 members remaining for a little while, but yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to do it here right now, kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. With the TRD members coming in, looking for the breach here. Quiet, moving down another floor, just wants to make sure he gets the peek on before it happens to him. TRD looking for a breach themselves into Quiet's building, and they're leaving Zero outside of it, too.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about earlier. It's covering you off angles. Say if you need to cover the position from other players, like for example, who is it, Basti, who's not with Quiet in that building. They don't want him to approach from the opposite building and try and cause a little bit of trouble. So they are able to do that, and we're going to switch on back over towards Yaznea near the church here. 7T and KI potentially going to be fighting, but the quiet time is over.
Yeah. Speaking of quiet time, he tries to get that one, but there are way too many members of TRD, and they just bum rush through him, so Quiet's gone down. Hackshot will get the finishing blow, and they take control of this house. It's now down to Basti and B52 on the AM side.
Yeah, no quiet time. Like we mentioned, they really put an end to that. Put a lot of bullets into him. They rushed, I think, 3 members in total. And back to IK here. They are receiving a little bit of trouble here. If they try to push with only 2 members in this one position, if they just stay on this side of the road, they should be good. Circle's still going to be pushing in.
Here's RBK
as
well. So, a little quiet for them at the time being. But, things will start to change a little bit over. We're just going to keep our eyes on the TRD situation over here. Pachinki once more, just looking to see if AM decide to peek. And I think at this point, They realize it's no longer safe, so the slow back away commences. They try to put as much distance as possible between them and TRD.
Yeah, I mean, they've already done the damage to one of the top teams that they are going against in TRD. They know that they don't have to continue pushing these guys to have an effective sort of game. They've already killed 2 of them, and now they can just back off and be like, okay, cool. Let's have a breathing room. Let's potentially surround them in a little bit of repositioning and movement here. And we see 70, they have actually got a bit of a spot onto IK, and it seems like it's grenading time.
Ooh, boy. So 70 getting a little hot and heavier earlier on. Now, we'll check in with JS here. On the opposite side of the map. A little bit quiet for them. Back to 70's fight over with IK. Just trying to set up for this one over on Yasnaya.
He wasn't committing to the grenade. It's pretty interesting. Maybe he's waiting for a couple of his members, but they have to be very careful.
There's the start. Oh, they're just flying right now. They've already gotten reefed down. And it was IK that actually pulled the trigger first here.
Yeah, they weren't waiting around this time. They've gone down very early on before, and that was a smoke going out, I hope. Anyway. Here it is. So they're going to be able to survive that. So
it was just a knock apiece. Oh, as I say it, Control starting to try and even those odds out a little bit more here.
We are going to be seeing them back away here. The grenade's going to be going in on top of this roof, and they're going to back away, lick their wounds, and try to recover from the situation.
Kramek going to go up to the top floor very slowly here. The IK members, they've gotten everyone back on their feet. Barrow, the only one a little bit low on the health bar. You can see Hoger here holding out. Up against 70 on the opposite side. This is good for IK, though.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more fighting spirit we're seeing out of them this game.
Yeah, they've actually been performing this game rather than sort of dropping off a little bit too early in the other games. They've not just sort of turtled up in top of one of the buildings, actually performing against these guys and trying to get the sort of position on them as well. You can see that they've separated out a couple of their players so that if they do get rushed, they can actually shoot them from a different position. And I think this just goes to show that this map is where they are more comfortable. Maybe we'll see continual good performance out of them, especially against one of the top teams, 17.
Yeah, this is one of those things that really changes a lot when you do start rotating around maps. You see drastically different performances out of teams, and it really shows that you need to have a mastery of all 4 of them if you want to be able to, get as many consistent wins as possible. You can't just be good at one. You can't over-index.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, this is one place they have to try and establish their dominance over, because their positioning right now in Yasnaya, if they can wipe out, say if 70 or IK dominate Yasnaya, it means that one of the other teams may just back away and just say, okay, you have Yasnaya, we'll find another place. But talking of another place, we're going to be seeing the circle come in, and it's not exactly on one side of the military circle. So we could actually see this still push on over towards the base.
Yeah, 1 foot out of camp.
Yeah, there's still enough land there.
Yeah, Control does get a knockdown. So let's see if he can get a little bit more done here as we continue to go back to this fight over in Yasnaya. These teams will have to start moving pretty quickly, though, once the circle just start closing in on them, because they are going to be outside of it. AXT, you could see, are way outside the circle, though. They were still over at George Pool, and they're going to have to start making tracks, but nobody to really get in their way here. Still in this fight, though. Barrow, he's taking a lot of damage, but he's back on his feet once again.
Yeah, so they've fallen into old habits, it feels like. So although resident member is really important, but gathering all 3 members into the building is really dangerous. They obviously have one person at the back. Not quite good enough. And look at this, TRD versus Rush to Crush once again. Who is going to be able to come out on top, though? 2
very aggressive teams. Rush to Crush didn't get a chance to fight TRD last time as they got down by VW early, but they're coming in hot and heavy looking for the fights. Over on Yasnaya, things are still heating up, though, but
I think they're cooling off.
I was about to say, I think I might be wrong about that, because IK are backing away once again.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like we switched back to Vikendi, and it's gone a little bit ice cold, but we are going to be seeing the rotation coming in from one of these teams, and they're actually over on Military Island, but
here's Rush to Crush again.
Here we go. The engagement will start soon. They have seen each other, so they are knowledgeable of each other's sort of areas, thanks to...
It's only 3. Where's the other member Rush to Crush? Oh, there's the 4th. Just off screen. Yeah, didn't have the hover on.
Yeah.
TRD, we're going to watch Deathzone for the time being. Definitely one of the better players that we've seen so far today here in this PUBG Mobile Club Open. It's a nice view up top. Not sure if they're aware that Rush to Crush are coming for him, though. Now back away. So there we go.
So again, the sort of important sort of angles on these guys is really important for TRD. They have got members quite far backed off, so I don't actually know if they're fully aware. Look at him, he's just running through the open and sort of trying to get into a more defensible position. Okay, Zero has actually seen him. He's going to take a couple of shots, but...
You can see AXT making tracks there to try and get back into the circle as the zone was really encroaching on him pretty rapidly. Zero backed around the edge of this house looking for a peek, joined by a couple members of his team. Still out in the open. Rush to Crush haven't been able to find a good shot on any of the TRD members, though. So this has worked out for them. And there's a split. Coming in 2-2 on either side. Oh, the nade's going to get the down under Rush, though.
That is what I'm talking about. Come on. And now the push is going to be coming in.
Tupac hasn't moved, though.
He might be able to hold them off, but the aggressiveness from TRD is going to work out in their favor. But Pack going to get taken down. TRD going 2-on-1. Now Zero going to be pushing in, looking to finish Rush here, it seems like. But no, they're professional. They don't want to get the frags early on. They want to wait.
Rush to Crush trying to go forward here, but TRD slow and steady. They can win the race. They can take the fights. However, Soul Eater tried to go forward, but he ran into a absolute hail of bullets there, and that is going to be the end of Rush to Crush once again, down in, looked like 12th place.
TRD are warming up, and it is looking scary. It's like when you go and eat sort of a spicy chili, and you get like a nice level 1, like maybe even just like a jalapeno, but these guys are starting to go up that sort of level of spiciness.
Yeah, we're going to have to get that scale out for the little extra spice there. Right now, they're getting to habanero levels. But let's keep checking this out. Next circle comes through, and it looks like no more island to be played, but critically, Pachinki is still in play.
And so an interesting call-out for people who are still getting used to some of the call-outs. That brown mark, you can see sort of almost center of the circle, is called Potato for future reference, and I'll point it out again later on, but it's one of the pro call-outs there. We're going to be seeing RBK, who have made it not into the circle, but they are quite close by. I think they might have a couple of vehicles, and we've obviously got this lad over here who's trying to push in.
There have been a lot of these teams that really haven't encountered anybody today because they've been so far out, or rather in this particular map. But they are going to start coming in a little bit closer, and we'll see how well they can actually take on some of the warmed-up members of teams like TRD here. It's KS, one of the more active teams that haven't really run into anyone just yet, but they are soon to be in these two vehicles here with RBK around the side.
You'd hope to see some of the shots come out, and that's exactly what is going to happen.
All right, RBK down on his belly, though, and you can see there's a couple of teams actually going to be around the side. Big open area, though.
Yeah, there's actually 3 teams fighting now. It's going to be KS, RBK, and Mohammed Saad's team. I'm not quite sure which one those are. But we should actually see KS just try and dive away from here. They don't want to be anything to do with that. They want to survive through, because obviously position is so important in here. One team has only died so far.
Oh, there's JS.
Yeah, there you go. Good old JS. Right next to 7T, actually.
Just survive. Let's see if they can do that. 7T kind of moving on out of here.
Wonder what happened to IK.
Well, we saw one actually die to the blue finally.
All right.
But it looked like the rest of them. And then we can see even more from IK. It's Hoger that actually does get taken out, and Barra will finally go 6 feet under. So I think you've got your answer there.
Oh, yeah, got answered. Thank you very much, Mr. Spectator Man. Or woman, thank you. Appreciate it. 70, though, going to have a car coming up to them from Reef, who's going to be able to help them rotate, and look at this.
AXT, all of a sudden, VW are going to go right and start to crash their digs. Let's see if they can get this breach on. You can see around the side they've got one. It's a bit of a sandwich situation right now. They don't realize there's a big fight on, and already one of the VW members is going to get dropped down.
Fantastic positioning from AXT as they jump outside that building now. They're going to be pushing into VW, and the grenades are going to be going out.
Oh boy, this is an absolute death trap right now for VW. Another down. Clown this time is the one who secures it, and the full breach comes through, and AXT just execute.
Yeah, AXT are not clowning around here. They're looking to lord over their enemies and get a couple of kills. Silence.
I don't want to respond to that.
You know, you gotta get the flow in there.
I love wordplay, but man, you're laying it on thick today, Tom. That's okay. All right, another firefight's coming out here. This time it's 17 RBK occupying opposite sides, and this little area here, a couple of settlements. 2 floors, though, should be the advantage for RBK.
You'd think that, but it depends on really the grenades that are coming out. But 70 are at the disadvantage, but not with nades like that from H-Mode, and I think he knocks himself out.
Yeah, he does. H-Mode on H-Mode, unfortunately. Himself down. He does have a little bit of teammates to help cover for him here. The next circle will come in, and it looks like we're going just south of Potato.
His teammate actually, his teammate actually knocked himself out as well.
Oh, that feels bad, man. Now there's a full-on melee firefight, and it looks like it's Fazza that comes out ahead here. They just spray through the smoke and try to find as many downs as they possibly can, and 7T should be able to win this one with only 1 knock.
That was a really well played from 7T. They played aggressive. They used the weapons correctly at those distances and punished the opposition RBK, who grenaded 2 of themselves, which really put them at the disadvantage, and I think lost them this game in total. So we're going to be switching over to KS and JS, who should be going into fight very soon.
7T lose 1.
Look at this, though. 70 may be coming under fire from a distance from these guys who are watching from this tree line. With the, I think that was actually a M24 in his hands. JS going to be in a fight with KS in a moment. It's sort of back and forth every so often. We can see from this view, and lots of smoke still on 70, and KS can have a player dropped.
Yeah. See, a couple of members going to go out there to try and revive them up while Kraken keeps guard for the time being. JS still, though, keeping their sights trained on him. dangerous position for both teams. JS need as many points as they can, too. They've had a couple of disappointing rounds. SWAT does take a chip shot of damage, but he's still fine.
It's not so bad. And SWAT here has no helmet, so he has to be very careful. As soon as he peeked, he could get one shot or two-shot from an AR, which is pretty dangerous in that situation. You're not going to be able to go in for those aggressive peeks and not get punished.
Oh, here's TRD facing on AXT now. This is going to be an interesting fight. TRD are just looking so strong right now, and AXT taking it to him. Let's see, as all 4 members are up and available on the opposite compound here.
So the grenades are going to be going out, it seems, from AXT. Not going to be able to do too much damage here.
Yeah, TRD are buying their time. They know they don't need to worry about it just yet. They've played so many fights and survived all of them so far here. We're going to take a look quick at the mini-map. It swaps back, though, as we look over at MBZ, who had another quiet round. Just chilling up in the hills, having a nice day, laying on the grass. Yeah, sunny out.
They keep going in for the sort of placements, but it's not really working out for them because they keep dying a little bit too early on. They go in for the push into the build, and unfortunately, it's one that's under aggression, and they get messed over. So let's see what they can do here on this side of the map, and also on Erangel, which is a little bit harder to play. And we are going to be seeing a lot more snipers on this one.
Yeah, Ahmed does manage to get himself a knock. So JS holding out. KS losing members fast. Mehmet on the high ground here. Excuse me, KS just need the rest of them on camera. So, nice little 4v4. Let's see if Mehmet can actually secure any extra shots. He's not looking around because it looks like everybody's actually starting to come to them.
Yeah, that's actually going to be a DP in his hand, so he can lay down a lot of fire. That thing's got 47 bullets in it and does quite a lot of damage. It's the 7.62 ammo in it, so it does a little bit extra damage and hits a bit harder.
9 teams, 30 players still alive here. 18.5 minutes on the clock. We're starting to see it really come down to the wire. AXT does manage to get one more. Demon takes a little bit of extra damage as well, but he's not knocked.
So AXT trying to fight the battle on multiple sites here, and actually going to get helped by TRD, but as I say, that grenade going to go in through the window, I think, from TRD.
Don't see it going off just yet, so we won't really get any indicators that that one went south. This fight's going to have to move pretty quickly, though. Lord does get downed by Mohammed Said, and that's a third party. Hackshot taking a few more pot shots at him.
Yeah, it's not a team we've actually seen too much from in this game. I think they're one of the teams that kept on getting disconnected, but let's see what goes on through here. TRD is still in a really strong position.
Circle's starting to close.
Not as strong as a couple of the other teams who are going to be able to push in. JS and KS are going to be in this massive fight. Look at that grenade going to be going out, but it goes a bit too far.
Just a little bit. SWAT can count as lucky stars for now, but they're going to have to make tracks on the side of JS pretty quickly if they want to avoid the zone damage. Mehmet going to make a run for it here, but he's just up against the edge, and now it's going to be a melee fight coming in, or very close to it, as KS starting to come through here. Clown sitting on the outside. It looked like that fight might have gone south a little bit for AXT. We didn't see what happened on the rest. Oh, 3 in the vehicle, excuse me.
Oh, Clown is still alive at the moment, but he's low on HP. Smoke should be going out for them to try and cover themselves up. Grenade goes out. SWAT. Actually, sorry, that was a flash. He's fully flashed right now.
Hey, that's Basti. He manages to get a couple. He's got the knock on a hack shot right now. This is massive. Basti's going to take down Zero, and all of a sudden TRD are in a heaping helping of trouble. They get third party themselves.
Looking so good, and you can see KS doing fantastic work, getting the kill onto SWAT, and it's going to be running out of time here. Blue is going to be pushing in.
Yeah, Mehmet. He's going to get taken out of this one, so all of a sudden we have 4 or 5 teams, so we're fighting it out for one spot. 9 teams remaining alive right now, 25 players. This game is still up for grabs. You can see Prada pulling off the little snake, trying to get himself into good position to get some shots off, and he does manage it. JS down to 1. Ah, he's out of there. So, down to 8 teams. JS managed to end it out in 9th.
And IBO actually has that level 3 helmet from the crate, which is good for him. And Clown going to be trying to push in, but AXT going to be facing against TRD.
Yeah, Lord and Clown really kind of trying to cover for the rest of the team, but Rodel goes in and he gets immediately knocked by the remaining 2 members of TRD. It doesn't matter how weak they seem, they still can pull off these incredible plays. Ahmed's going to get taken out of this one, as well as Rotal and Clown. AXT in trouble.
God, this is just so impressive, and they don't even lose a player as they just lock down another one, and oh, it's actually going to be set control going down to Demon. 70 looking a little bit.
Yeah, 7th place there for AXT, and it looks so good for a little while, but TRD are still in this with 2 members remaining. 7T, now fighting them out directly. These were our 2 finals last time around.
This is just crazy dangerous for these guys, and they're still in the circle right now, and you can see this nade going out, but unfortunately they don't realize they're on the other side of the building, but the blue is going to be pushing in against these guys, so they're going to have to go inside that building. Shot's going to be coming off from these guys, though. The sniper at this distance, the DMRs, should be coming into use. That's an SLR, a M24, and an M24.
Oh,
The shot comes in.
What a knock.
MBZ joining in with the fight.
All right, about time. And I think they learned their lessons from the last game where they came in guns a-blazing and paid for it with their lives. IK still finding a couple more shots themselves, so there's still a few members alive on that team. And that's why we're seeing so many count here.
I think this is the first time we've seen them in the sort of top 8 here, so this is actually really surprising from IK.
Yeah.
Being able to live this long, which is always good news for them. And they're trying to push up aggressive, but they haven't got the meds to be able to heal up full way, which is going to be pretty depressing for them right now.
You don't want to lose the environment after surviving for so long here. So looks like we are going to get yet another circle coming in, and it is just about
look at this
all
play.
rural. Rotate around past the smoke.
They're trying to do the backstab here, trying to get behind them, but this team are having none of it. They're trying to run away.
Oh boy, here's Rowan coming on. Here's the IK member remaining. It looks like they actually have 2 people up right now, and XJ is going to be getting some serious shots off. Still, 2 members of TRD, and they are dangerous as ever, like an animal cornered.
Yeah, they're trying to get those shots off, but it doesn't matter because Death Zone, his teammate, has got a different angle. Nails him behind the tree.
Oh, he does get down, though. That's danger right now. Let's see if Death Zone can actually get him back up.
There's an opportunity for 70 to actually push on this. If they were fully aware of which team was in there, they should be able to go in for the push, but it seems like 70 are going to play a little bit more passive as the circle's coming in, pushing them out of those buildings, I think, if I'm right in saying, which is going to be really bad for them.
70 actually a little bit preoccupied with the IK members, but they do manage to take the rest of them down. It looks so we're down to 4 teams now with only 10 players remaining, and not a whole lot of settlements left, not a whole lot of houses to hide in. Doesn't matter who you are, and look at this. MBZ have got themselves a car.
Please don't all get in that vehicle. Please don't.
He's thinking about it. Ah, there we go. It's Dukes of Hazzard time. Come on, Tom.
The car pretty much looks all beaten up, and look at it driving in. It's going to be headed straight off into TRD and 70 sort of territory.
I mean, they managed to get in here really easily. Now let's see how well the breach can go, because they got to be careful not to step in. There's a big spray from Mazza, and Control coming around the backside here, but it's a 4-on-2 for 7T, and they just vacate the premises.
This is a really smart play as they're trying to loop around, but he's going to be jumping out in front of the firefight.
There's just too many members to face down at this point. They can't really handle this one. If they manage to clutch it, that would be incredible, but it looks like it is too little, a little bit too late in Control. Maybe he can take one down. Maybe he can pull the surprising shot, but the answer is no. 7T are going to be out of there, and MBZ moving to the final 3 right now. They do lose one. TRD, one of the remaining members, do get a knock.
TRD in such a fantastic position against MBZ, and MBZ trying to prove themselves here, and they're almost there. But TRD may have the answer against them and may be able to rail them out of the game. These 2 players in a 2 versus 4. If they take this, then I'm sorry, but you have to give mad props to TRD just trying to make the best of the bad situation they've got.
I mean, they're doing great on points at the moment, and also they're not the only ones left. AM still have Bastion and B52 up. These are 2 of the better performers on that side, so it's still a 3-team game, but they're the third party. They know the basic rule of PUBG. If there's at least 3 teams left, let the other 2 fight it out.
This is actually really interesting. So AM have full sort of map advantage because they've crossed the road already. They can just take full control. As soon as someone tries to peek out, they can spray them down because they're going to have to run through the open. TRD and 70 obviously. Basti going to be able to take down 1.
All right. That's a knock. Still, though, as long as there's 1 more member of TRD left up, they can get them back on their feet. MBZ trying to creep through. They definitely have the superior numbers. The question is, do they have the superior execution? B52 taking shots, not finding a purchase. He does get 1. There's the breach. Death Zone gets the knock, but oh man, is he gonna be able to do more? He's on his knees, and that's Basti.
Basti just coming in for the backstab here, but we've still got 1 member left on TRD, but he's going to be able to do anything. Found another player on MBZ.
Yeah, they lose 1, get another knocked.
Now it's going to be 1 last member left alive on MBZ.
So it's 2v2v1 right now.
Spray coming through the smoke, but it's not going to be doing too much. Hixie.
If Hixie can do this, if Hixie can do this with a single player remaining in this 3-team final fight, honestly, TRD have some legendary status. He's definitely in the disadvantage. Will they go for him? Will they group to try and take him out of this one? It does seem like it's AM's game.
Yeah, there's not really any way AM should lose this because these teams are going to be in the blue in a moment, and the aggressive coming in, and TRD going to go down.
Down in 3rd place, but really an admirable performance from TRD. They get heaps of frags, and a 3rd place finish certainly going to stack on those points, but it is into the final 2-on-2 here. AM versus MBZ Falcons.
You just have to put your money on Basti here, but he's going to get sprayed and railed by one of the players on MBZ.
And not down, though. B52, there's the bunny hopping though. He tries to take cover behind the motorbike, and B52 just can't find the damage he needs. It's all out in the open here, just a couple of trees for cover.
There's just nothing you can do against AM right now. You're going to be on low on HP. The Blues pushing in against you. MBZ potentially going down here.
Well, let's see if they got a little bit more magic. These guys have lasted so long compared to previous performances where they played it so quietly. B52 has one in his sights, using that tree well for cover as Basti runs in, and he finds a little bit of extra damage there.
But it's actually going to be MBZ who knocks down Basti. He is going to go in for the finish here, trying to stop him from being able to feed.
So now it's
2v1 information. 2v1. I called this the opposite way around, but it seems like MBZ, the guys who died out very early on, are back with the furious intentions.
That is surprising from Basti. He kind of goes in a little bit too fast there, and he gets down before he can actually make the reverse happen. And let's see if B52 can make a little magic happen. Looks for the smoke. If he can pull the clutch, that'd be something for AM. But MBZ, they are hunting. They are hungry for that chicken dinner.
They've got the circle as well. So unfortunately, AM B52 has to run through the open, and it's not going to be in his favor. So he has to try and
for days.
Down.
Oh, and it's over.
So close. He saw his head, but just wasn't able to land that last shot, and unfortunately went down. And MBZ coming through fantastically with, I think, what's that, 8 kills in total, which is really good. I mean, AM only ended with 3 kills, and then we have TRD who come into 3rd place with a fantastic amount of kills. Can't fault them on that front. There's 12 kills in total.
No, not at all, but honestly, super impressive from MBZ, really taking advantage, not only in the very end there of kind of some positioning errors, but seriously, they played, again, the first half of the game like every other. They dropped in a very different spot than everyone else. They made it in. They got the frags this time around, and they learned from their mistake on Miramar. They didn't go in for a third party right away with all 4 members. They actually waited, they hung back, and they found a good position.
Yeah, they did it eventually when they crashed with that car, which I was like, just don't do. But to be fair, it was
They're the ones that flipped it up.
No, yeah, they were actually the guys who did that, I think. So
a bit of card tricks maybe
in the last game, but they did do very well in that push in that Dacia, but they were kind of lucky because they weren't getting shot by 7T and TRD because they were actually sort of fighting that point. If they'd been a couple of seconds earlier, completely different story. But they managed to get through there, take down both of these teams, eventually losing a couple players along the way. Being able to take down AM with AM in that position, very surprising. I'm very happy for them to be able to get that.
Yeah, I think Basti kind of lost his nerve for a second when he really went and rushed in because B52 wasn't on the same page. He wasn't laying down cover fire at the same time. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that last map here. And this was the start of it. AM actually got into an early fight with TRD, and they lost a couple of members, or at least they really lost out on the fight early on, but they kind of paid him back in kind later on.
They actually lost 2 players here, so they managed to keep the last 2 players all the way to the end. You see the obviously aggressive play from TRD coming through, and they do it very clean as well. And we can switch over to IK, who impressed us this game, or impressed me at least, being able to make it through to the top 8. I think they actually got 6th or 7th.
They did. They got. They actually placed 5th place in that one. I was writing it down, and that's really impressive. They actually were just below 7T, who were they in this firefight. So these early firefights were actually kind of prophetic, if you think about it.
No, definitely, yeah. It's definitely creating that storyline here, because we can see, obviously, the battle for Pachinki was actually in TRD's favor. So who knows? We may see AM drop into a different location in the next game.
This was Rush to Crush getting wiped very quickly off the map again. So while they had a really good game number 1, unfortunately they haven't been able to follow it up on the bigger maps, and we're seeing them drop out again. This was where RBK gets down.
RBK pretty much signed their own death warrant there. They grenaded 2 of their own players.
You hate to see it.
And 7T were just like, oh, easy peasy lemon squeezy, let's get a couple of free kills, and that's exactly what they did. AXT also coming out on top in a lot of fights here that we didn't expect them to.
Unfortunately, that one was when they finally met their fate there at the very end, and ended up getting wiped out by 7T. A couple more teams really coming up clutch in the end. Here was another big firefight between TRD and 7T, but it was AM. You could just see off the corner, off the edge there. They were watching and waiting while this fight happened with MBZ. But at the end of the day, it was MBZ that came up ahead.
Mad props to them for this run. They definitely surprised us with how they played. And actually, right even at the end here, you can see Basti, who pushed through the open and tried to play aggressive. It seemed almost like he had his auto run on, which is obviously not what you want to do, but a little bit too aggressive. And like you said, it might have just been that B52 wasn't on the same page. Tried rushing forward, and B52 didn't lay down the cover and fire. For whatever reason, he might have been reloading. There was miscommunication. These kind of things happen all the time, and hopefully they iron these out. for the future.
Yeah, but for MBZ, this was like a big sigh of relief because not only did they take those points, they took a lot of frags off the top of it. In previous games, they had dropped down kind of in the middle of nowhere, wondering where the heck everybody was, and then they ended up getting down very early on in the game relative to a lot of other teams. So they pick up some much-needed points here in Game 3, and they'll have another chance to strut their stuff on Erangel before we end for the day. Yeah,
I'm really excited to see what happens on this Erangel map because we're going to be seeing a new meta or a meta forming out of this one as well. Who's going to drop Yaz now? Are IK going to go and try and fight against 7T once again?
Yeah, well, we see Pachinki left alone, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Pachinki, I mean, TRD dominated AM, and we might just see the two teams separate off into different locations. There's so many spots to go. I don't think any teams went over towards Mansion or Lipovka, and the playing path kind of fitted that as well.
Yeah, no, I think it worked out, so we'll see if anything changes for the next time around, but we will be taking a short break, and when we return, the fourth and final map of the night, it will be once again Erangel. Don't you go anywhere. The PUBG Mobile Club Open. We'll be right back.
1 year ago today, PUBG Mobile went online in over 200 countries. On the 1 year anniversary of the game, we're here with you to witness the honor and the glory. The anniversary Royale Pass will go live as scheduled with the usual variety of rewards and a load of anniversary exclusive items, such as the brilliant anniversary outfit, the retro anniversary set, and the L&Q Chicken M762 finish. Don't miss out. PUBG Mobile, be the one. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass, you deserve it. Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1 year anniversary of PUBG Mobile with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
Ha! Gotcha. Royale Pass. You deserve it.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Yo, Mike, are you ready? Wait. Should I go with the UMP9 or UC?
Sun's out, guns out.
Gear up for summer.
Ready?
Okay. Well,
Ready?
sorry. I'm late.
Any plans for fall break?
Happy graduation! You made it, bro. So proud of you.
Sorry I'm late. What a day.
I hear ya.
Get
Come
this.
on!
Hey!
Watch out! Take this!
That's
Hey!
the real battleground.
Are you ready?
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile. Be the one.
And welcome back, everybody, once again to the fourth and final map of the night. It will once again be Erangel here at the PUBG Mobile Club Open. And, of course, I'm still Pyrotechnist. He is still Wee Freeman, also known as Tom Pickering. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. How are you doing, Devin?
I'm great. I didn't ask you at the start of the day. It's been bugging me the whole time. I've just been feeling like silently like impolite and like judging myself the entire time. But I'm glad to know that you are doing well, especially after a few hours of sitting next to me.
I'm doing very well. Even better for sitting next to you, mate. So far, so good. These games have been really interesting, and obviously our first time casting together, and it's felt so smooth.
Oh, it's been easy, man, just like butter. So, and I think for some of these teams, it's kind of felt that way as well. Looking at TRD,
you know,
I mean, great play from them. They didn't go out in the first place finally, but you know, they kind of got sandwiched a little bit between a couple of teams. MBZ Falcons finally picking up a win, and you gotta wonder if maybe they just felt that the better practice was on Erangel because they seem to play like a different team.
I mean, they could have taken a look at the rule set and what maps are going to be played and how many, and it's like, oh, Erangel, that dominates the map pool. So why don't we do okay on Vikendi and okay on Miramar and just dominate onto, well, not dominate, but do very well in sort of position.
Well, they get the win.
Kills. Yeah, they got the win on Erangel. If they do very well on 2 maps out of the 4, who cares? That's good
Well,
enough.
I mean, they also had some scenic tours of both Vikendi and Miramar as well. They were at Dino Park at the beginning, and the only team that was that far out to the west. But they definitely look great. They did start a little bit further apart once again from a lot of the other teams, even on Erangel, but they kind of rejoined the fight. They played really well, especially up against AM in that final firefight where Basti kind of just I guess he just sort of snapped because he just kind of ran out to the open and B52 wasn't really there to cover for him at the same time, and it ended up being a 2v1.
Yeah, I mean, it's that moment where you're like, oh, I hit auto run. Whoops.
Yep, that's
that happened. I'm actually going to die now. He wasn't covered by B52.
So the secret is staying on auto run all the time.
Yeah, if you're on auto run, you can never turn it off. So
exactly.
But yeah, I mean,
zigzag.
Yeah, B52 in that end situation, not ideal. We did see him miss the headshot, which is a bit unfortunate. The recoil was just a bit too powerful for his fingers control, obviously. But he did very well to be able to get sort of a couple of kills earlier on. He's definitely a player to keep an eye out for. We've obviously talked very highly of Basti, but there's more players and there's more teams than just TRD. But most of all, I'm interested to see what happens in Pachinki and Yasna.
Yeah, if teams start dropping there once again, because remember, we're winding all the way back to the start of that last game. We did have that fight between TRD and AM early on, and that's why they were down to 2 members. They got their revenge at the end, to be fair, or rather, they kind of let MBZ get the revenge for them.
Yeah.
But all the same, you know, they did last out a little bit longer, and that was surprising from how that first fight on Pachinki went down. I wonder if teams will start dropping to different places. We did see a handful out. We saw George Pool dropped by AXT, and then they pretty much had to leg it all the way back into the center of the map. A couple teams on Military Island. Unfortunately, Circle didn't favor them that time around.
Yeah, the way the teams dropped it was actually very much like an hourglass in the kind of the map. They avoided the middle parts of the main lands, and they just went into the center and then out through the bottom and also up to the top where like North Georgia Pool, South Georgia Pool, Military Islands, Pachinki. But they didn't go to places like Gatka, which is a really good place to sort of drop and get some kills.
I remember you pointing on the map. I'm kind of surprised last time that we didn't see anybody really getting onto it.
Those 2 big areas. There was no one in Mill to Power, and obviously the plane path did slightly sort of affect that, but it was still like a bit extreme not to go there. So let's get
a plane path
straight on into this. So
this time it will.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing a nice little bit of drizzle coming across here from the northeast down towards the southwest. Going to be dropping a few bits of
a little bit of weatherman.
You know, weatherman, yeah.
Weather Freeman.
Weather Freeman. Oh my God, there we go. New nickname. You heard it here first.
All right. Well, nobody take his tag. He's got to change it later himself. But let's see where everybody starts dropping off here. It will be the 4th and final map of the night. Erangel once again. A couple of teams actually heading over to Yasnaya again. So we might be in for a few more of those fights. There's AXT dropping out. I was curious to see where they would be going because last time it was Georgia Pool, and this time it's a little closer to the center.
It seems like they might be going over towards Rozhok, which is an interesting one. I don't think we saw anyone drop there before. Could be a school drop as well for maybe JS.
Ooh, AM. They pop out the plane just above the island. TRD as well.
So I think we're going to be seeing a fight for Pachinki again. They're not done. They want a round 2.
It's day 1, Tom. It's day 1. We've seen some pretty epic fights. I expect to see a few more before the tournament medal fully settles in, especially for the MEA region. They've definitely been fighting it out hot and heavy, even early on.
Look at this. KS actually going over towards sort of Novo as well to try and loot up over towards that area. And then we also have, obviously, Mustafa and his team trying to drop over towards Gatka. So they heard me. They heard what I was saying. And
Hacker MBZ right now. And it looks like the firefights are starting to Yasnaya already before we get on to actually seeing the third-person perspective.
Yeah. So that was an interesting one. So we have obviously got Yasnaya here, if I'm right in saying. Yep. So we've got a couple of teams here this time. It's not just 2. I think it's actually 3. I think maybe the third one is going to be moving away. They are. That is IK. They've given up Yasnaya because they know there's 2 teams there.
And there's no circle favoring it either right now. You look at where it does drop. It's a lot further to the west this time.
Look at this. This is going to be into Pachinki. Very interesting here. AM versus TRD.
And VW are still here. So this is a kind of a 3-man fight here. Now VW kind of had some mixed performances over the course of today. They got knocked early on in that first map, and it looks like we'll start to see the firefights coming out. But it was not here. TRD took some damage on 0 already, but I never count one of them out until they are completely zeroed out on health.
Yeah, so as soon as they're finished, then that's it. But we will see one of the members from this team getting picked up.
Rush to Crush, yeah.
Rush to Crush, yeah. And I don't know what they're doing here.
I mean, they've had such a rough go of it. After getting a second place on Vikendi, they just have not performed to that level. And once again, they find themselves facing across 17, another team that's really competing for those top couple of slots.
Yeah, and Zero is actually driving. I'm not even quite sure where it's gone, but I think TRD have taken the smart choice. They have actually backed away from this fight. They want to be able to loot up. They don't want to die too early. They want to try and secure their lead on the leaderboard, which is exactly what they should be focusing on doing. They've had a really good day so far, and we've obviously seen VW challenge into Pachinki, so it was actually a completely different team we didn't see coming in.
All right, here's KS moving through. Rush to Crush. They've actually slowed down just a bit. Now that they've got one of their members back up on his feet. Trying to play a little bit smarter up against 7T here.
Yeah.
We're in Visnaya. So, things quiet down for just a second. 49 players alive. 14 of the teams.
14 teams. I think that's
the most we've had load in, I think.
Good for them. They're actually going to be joining in, but a little bit late to the party, but better late than never. So
always a chance.
Yeah. TRD, you can see them in the background. They are disappearing off now.
One of the NBC members dies in the water. I saw him drop out, or like on the very southwest corner. I was wondering what the heck was happening there.
Maybe his phone crashed.
Ah, that feels bad.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say. Everyone should have phones, right?
Yeah. Well, you all have phones, right? Question mark.
It's like Solita trying to get the angle in here, but he's only got, I think, yeah, it's literally only a micro Uzi, so it's a little bit dangerous to try and play a distance with this.
Yeah, it's going to be hard right now. This is the problem with the early firefights. You can't always get the loot to really secure yourself in some of these holdouts. Rush to Crush moving in.
Yeah, so this is a couple of teams here looking to try and take the challenge onto.
Oh, they're moving away.
7T are going to be able to probably stay dominant here. Talking about dominance, AM looking to try and assert their dominance on to Pachinki, but VW, the new challengers here, trying to keep hold of it themselves, and newcomers trying to keep hold of this place.
I found it really interesting that TRD were the ones that actually abandoned and didn't go for the Pachinki drop this time around because they won against AM in the last map.
I think it's because they knew there was another team there, and they looked at the risk versus reward, and they were like, okay, cool, we could get a couple of kills, we could wipe these 2 teams, or we could wipe maybe 1, but we'd then go out in maybe the 14th position and get 0 points. It's just not worth it to them. So they've actually made the smart choice, and they have backed away from the fight. All people intact, and they're going to be able to loot up. I think they maybe went over to school. It'd be interesting to be able to see. Well, I don't think anyone went to loot.
Yeah, and TRD haven't placed below 4th today either. They're definitely a team that's been showing consistency across a number of maps.
I think they might actually be the most consistent team so far.
Yeah, I mean, 17's definitely up there as well. They did win Vikendi over Rush to Crush. MBZ have kind of picked up the pace now on Erangel, but I think you're probably right. They are the most consistent team we've seen so far.
Yeah, Vikendi wasn't great for TRD, but they definitely, obviously, in the top 4 was great, but we'll see what they end up doing there. But moving on, so IQ have actually found the home in Saverny on the northern side of the map, northern center, and they're going to be looting up a couple of these buildings, but they're not inside the circles. They are going to have to shift down south soon enough, and we are going to be seeing AM swat out a couple of players. The bunny ears on this character going to be helping him take some aim.
B52, he does find one down onto one of the VW members. And they just don't seem to be able to find the same shots to return fire that the likes of the AM members have been able to do consistently. These guys are absolute crack shots.
And look at this. We've actually got VSS.
Oh, wait a minute.
That was a VSS coming in. That was fantastic. And VW doing some damage. And that is the 9mm sniper rifle, which has got the full auto on, just for those that don't know, because it's not commonly used, to be fair, but it is very efficient, being able to do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. And Basti here has the M4 and the M24, so he's got the distance and close sort of covered.
Yeah, with that one knock, they're going to have to try and get quiet back up on his feet. So the Caster Curse kind of strikes. As soon as I'm praising them, they get hit.
Caster Curse is always
doesn't matter what game it follows you, man.
Look at this, though, Basti. He's got the perfect angle. He's going to go for the spray. He knocks one, and that's going to be an easy cleanup.
Nicely done, and he will get the finishing blow here. So all of a sudden, they've reduced the members of EW down to 3.
This is exactly what you want to be seeing. VW hiding away here in the tunnel.
They've got a decent spread here, but the numbers aren't favoring him anymore. Basti staring down the sights. Looking to chuck out a bit of that smoke here. Gets himself into the cover, and now the fight just slows down for a second. Very tense. All quiet in the Western Front, though.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a misdirection. No, he has actually dedicated himself to that.
Ooh, Basti taking cover. Some demon pops his way out of that tunnel. And you can see another VW member, Mohammed's going down. Quiet. Does manage to get a knock, getting a bit of revenge from before, and B52 finishes the job. All of a sudden, VW down to 2.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh, so close. Iron sights on M24, why not?
Yeah, what the heck, right? Hey, man, if he hits, it hits.
He wants to add that to his montage. Just want to get punished.
He makes the highlight reel.
Yeah, we're going to go towards crates here. There's going to be a couple of teams fighting. KS and the unknown team.
Yeah, these guys don't have their tags on. Let's see if they actually can get him a little bit of a surprise there. And he didn't even see him coming right now, so KS are starting to clean it up.
I think that was actually a down.
Okay.
Guys.
Wasn't able to get any further.
Clean it up, which is fine on that front, but KS in the meantime going to get sprayed down by
Evo does get hit.
Same team, yeah.
And this is rough because you're fighting in the blue right now. Got to get into a safer zone, but it's difficult to go through another team, especially one that's got the better positioning on you, so KS could be in some serious trouble.
You have to be very careful.
Oh, he sprays. Wrong way. Finally gets the down. Ahmed. Pulling it off, but it's still tense here. A couple members of the opposition remaining, not any longer. Ahmed looking to get his teammate back up. Let's check back in with this fight. It's AXT. And I believe RBK.
You fight for us to visit here now. AXT a little bit disadvantaged here. This position over towards Sanhok is quite close to school, just above it, so TRD might not be too far away. RBK still trying to breach here. They've got 3 members versus 2 in this situation, I think, so they may have the advantage here, but will they be able to take the purchase on it?
I feel like these are 2 teams that have really come close a number of times, but just not been able to take it into the top spots. AXT had a really rough start, of course. Remember, on Vikendi, they had to sneak their way into 8th place. Next circle will come in, and they're actually making tracks all the way down the way, and let's see as it circles more. We've still got a fair bit of water.
And there's still actually people fighting down over towards Novo. It's KS and a couple others. Actually, it might just be KS starting to rotate now, but they're deep inside the blue, so it's going to take them a while to get that rotation on. And here we're going to be watching Clown and Lord try to survive against these 3 members of RBK.
Okay, Clown going for the split here. We have seen AXT do a pretty good job with just a handful of members left, but we'll talk about them in a minute because AM are going to go ahead and finish the job onto VW. That should be the wipe. Down in 12th place. RBK with 3.
Look at this play from Clown, though. He's positioning himself outside, but he's able to now help his team. I was talking about sort of
Oh, here's the rest of AXT. They were just splitting off.
This is brilliant. This could easily be the downfall of RBK. They may not realize how much danger they're in.
They're calling in some reinforcements here. Just outside of Rozhok, this fight. RBK going to look for a couple of shots. Clown, though, still in the area, waiting to try and bait them out into the open. Doesn't take the shot on the scope.
Unfortunately, just didn't land any bullets there. That's going to be the AKM with, I think, 3 times or 4 times.
Zero gets knocked off screen, though, by the way. Look at that. One of the Rush to Crush members. He does get return fired, though, by Death Zone. So that's a different fight, but high stakes all the same. Here's TRD and Rush to Crush. RBK getting down. So we're kind of missing shots just off screen as it happens. RBK losing 1 to Demon.
This is back in Pachinki, so TRD weren't too far away. They've now returned, and look at the firefight. It's going to be Clown down in a member of RBK. Looks going for the finish. Easy peasy.
Yeah, AXT looking so good right now up against RBK. So all of a sudden down to 2 members. H-Mode's going to go ahead and chuck a couple of nades out there and see if he can get a bit of extra damage. But AXT, they're not on that floor. They don't have to worry about it. TRD, they're going to get another member down. AM have joined the fight off screen.
Oh, how the tables have turned. He's now a one-man army against all these guys, and the push is going to be coming in. They're going to peek through the window. Look at that play.
Oh, beautiful, and what a wipe there for AXT. So they do take RBK out of this one, knocked down to 11th place, and they'll pick up a couple extra frags for their troubles.
Really good. Now we're going to be going over towards Pachinki, and we're going to be seeing a big firefight here through 3 different teams. I think it's going to be AM, TRD, and also Rush to Crush.
This is the best Rush to Crush have looked in the last couple of maps, though, so maybe some chance to get some fights back or get some points back on the board for them. However, B52 and Rush to Crush are really kind of sandwiching TRD at the moment. Will they be able to fight it back? Both teams kind of keying off on them. It makes a lot of sense considering how TRD have played today.
Yeah, and you'd hope that TRD are going to be able to sort of keep I guess, their own ground here in this sort of Pachinki battle to the death, because it's going to be really hard for them, because they did have to back away and then return, so they don't know the full layout of where everyone is. So they're trying to work that out as they go through. Obviously, 2 other different teams are going to be very difficult, and this is Gatka, so just the edge. They are going to have to rotate away from here. There is obviously another team, JS, who are over in that small compound, which doesn't really have too much protection. I don't agree with having all 4 of your members on one place. It's very dangerous, and so is that driving.
Yeah, just a little bit. But fortunately over here at Rozhok, AXT kind of rule the roost for the time being. But the zone will be encroaching on them pretty fast, so they'll start having to make some tracks. The question is, where do they go? Because the teams over in Gatka are definitely going to be going a little bit east right now, but they might be going a little bit towards the west. And this fight continues. TRD, they have everybody on their feet, but Hackshot is a little bit low. He will be healing up in the meantime, has a couple of bandages to use.
Yeah, I think we might see them go over towards the school area, because I think that may well be empty, if I'm
Let's
right
see what the next circle is.
Oh, where have they gone?
Oh, it's centered right in. And wouldn't you know it, Tom, we're going to have some more Pachinki battles.
Yeah, we're not going to be seeing the end. It's gonna be right to the end, I think, that we might see Pachinki. And even then, when people have to leave, it's not going to be so easy. There's going to be some gatekeepers waiting for people to try and come inside the circle. And that's really kind of a difficult situation you have to kind of pair yourself with. Is, do you try to rotate early out of the Pachinki, or do you just stay there and try and dominate, and then have to deal with the late rotation, the extra damage from the blue, the potentially no vehicles, and getting shot by teams? So it's really sort of trying to juggle these up, because if you late rotate, you're not going to be able to get the building you may want to.
That's not so good. 7T going to get in the vehicle themselves, and we haven't really seen a whole lot from these guys except for the very start of the match. They've been playing consistently highly ranked, but it's been more quiet in the last couple of rounds, especially here on Erangel. They've taken a slightly different tack, so one of those teams has also varied things up. And speaking of varied strategies, MBZ, once again, they find themselves a nice little holdout, so playing a little more quiet.
Yeah, and obviously down 1 member, because
one dropped into the water.
Yeah, one forgot his armbands when he went swimming, so unfortunately he drowned. But moving on, and actually back to Pachinki here, so we're going to be seeing Rush to Crush trying to peek from the top, so let's take it through here.
7T are going to lose a couple of members, though, to IK as that's happening. Looks like they didn't expect that house to be occupied, and all of a sudden down to 2. Let's see if they get another down. They've got one on row and another one on control. He's knocked.
That's the sound of doom there, the DP28, and what a fantastic play coming out from 7T, being able to wipe that team, being able to get a bunch of kills, and also that position.
Just the execution from 7T. Superior play there from them, and IK found themselves on the wrong end of it. TRD, they're going for a run. Pixia does get caught for a second, but he's all right. He's managed to position himself in a nice spot here on the other side of the barrier, and he's sneaking up on Rush to Crush.
You can't fault these players. They're playing so fantastically. Rush trying to get back against.
Here we go, TRD getting Death Zone, finding it down. Rush to Crush and Rush both down inside the house here, and it's going to be the finisher from TRD as AM coming in, and it was a big pincer move, but Rush to Crush finding themselves on the wrong end of it.
And they have to be very careful, because I think JS have actually joined in the fight very close by, and they're going to be shooting on their back and done.
Oh, Demo Free Fires gives his position away, and he just runs into a hail of fire here. So TRD coming up spades, coming up aces. Pretty much, I think they're playing with a full deck at this point.
Yeah, and brilliant. But TRD do not have much time to sort of recuperate, because they're now going to be in between Rock and a hard place, and the hard place is going to be AM, who are right behind them and going to be putting pressure on them very soon. And JS, they have spread out a little bit. Prado is going to take a little bit of damage, and XD still alive.
Yeah, AXT are just a little bit on the boundaries of this right now, so kind of hoping that the circle next one coming in will favor them a little bit, but they are playing a little quieter, and they do seem like a very smart team, a little bit more calculated. Some things have definitely not favored them, but I've really liked to see how they've been able to play once they have an understanding of where everyone is in their immediate vicinity.
Some of their positioning has been very good. I don't know if it's just pure luck, but their positioning so far in this map was actually pretty good, because look, they're right next to the circle, and this is going to be a direct Pachinki end sort of circle, maybe even a field circle, but it's more likely just to be inside the Pachinki or around the edge.
Now, we talk about third parties. Looks like we're going to be in for 4th, 5th, maybe 6th, so it is just going to be an absolute party inside of Pachinki, and I don't think that town's big enough for everybody. Speaking of, the fight is still going right now. You can see some of the AM members quiet, going to be able to find some damage on to TRD, but it's Death Zone that returns it in kind. JS is in the mix as well.
And Death Zone going to be jumping out the window. He wants to reposition, and this is one of their strengths. They know how to play and where to sort of reposition their players. They don't have to clump together, which is the downfall of a lot of these teams. And
they hit the window or in through the door.
One entrance. They open that door. That team play is fantastic. Not something we see from many of these teams.
No, not at all. AM waiting on the rooftops here, see if they can get an opening shot. And it does seem to come down to it between these two, TRD and AM. They've been consistently fighting it out on Pachinki ever since we started on Erangel here. Zero getting caught out on the rotation on his own. Doesn't go down, though. Basti can't quite find it.
He's going to be able to jump inside and try and survive himself. And Molotov from AM going to go down. Frida coming in from the side. And now AXT looking to join in the fray. This is going to be the 4th or 5th team inside here. And 7T are going to be the 5th, I think, actually.
All right, so a lot of these really highly ranked teams are going to be duking it out for supremacy here. And this is where it's really all going to come down to it right now. 7T coming in. They find the knock onto Lord. And all of a sudden, AXT didn't expect this full team to come in right behind them. They thought they were the ones with the vehicle, but Lord's going to find himself out isolated. Doesn't get knocked just yet. Or excuse me, looks like he's already knocked onto his feet, but 7T can finish the job whenever they want.
Now it's going to be Clown left alone on AXT. 7T control going to be able to finish off Lord, but it's going to be JS going down to the rest of AXT here.
I can still get a couple of frags out at the end of the day. Clown's still on his feet, looking for some damage. Zero hiding out in those trenches. Everybody's fighting everybody, but it's kind of a bit of a circle going across the way. Nobody's really fighting the same team on all fronts.
Yeah, and TRD still left with the most of area of contention. And look at this grenade. That might just be perfect to be able to kill a player, but no.
A little too short.
Zero is able to survive that grenade, which is really good news for them. TRD, are they down to 3 members?
No, looks like they have everybody.
They have everyone.
They have everyone. KS, speaking of, they have a couple of members as well, and they're the ones not in this fight. There's only a handful of teams that aren't anywhere near Pachinki right now because they're running out of space.
I don't think they've actually got a vehicle over there, so this may leave them to try and crawl across the way. And unfortunately, snaking is quite fun to sort of see and quite amusing. But unfortunately, in third person, it's not nearly as effective as first person is because you can get spotted a lot easier.
Okay, so looks like AXT's last member, Clown's going to try to find some of his teammates, get them back on their feet because they're not taken out just yet. There's a couple of them still alive. Fazza, he caught a couple of sights on, but didn't really find a shot he liked. This is rough for Clown because look where he's caught. It's not just a pincer. There's 3 or 4 teams around him.
He's actually stuck in Granny's house, and he's going to be looking to take a couple of shots here towards them. It's going to be TRD as well joining in.
I think the big bad wolf is coming for sure. You can see Hixu is going to be able to find it down onto his... Hixu's going to get taken out in time, though. That's the knock onto him, but Zero's still up and available as he gets himself back down into the cover of these trenches, trying to find as much damage as he can to the 17 members, but they're playing well as a unit.
Look at that repositioning from Zero. He's such a good player here.
That's 3 downs. He might as well just finish him for the kills at this point. He's got 1. He should be able to get to all the points that TRD could want are available to them as the crawling comes through. 2-man breach.
Look at this aggressive play.
Oh, Reef is waiting. But there's the nade, and he knows it. He has to jump. Back down to the first floor. No one left to res. 2 members down. Control. Nowhere to be found.
He's going to look to run to another building as he knows he's out of luck inside that one. And he's just going to carry on through these buildings, trying to survive, trying to get that position. He doesn't want to go out and 7 the position. TRD, like a dog, they've smelt, or I guess a shark, they've smelt blood and they're going after it right now. Reef, last one left alive on 7T.
They are the hunters. 7 teams remaining, 22 players alive, and Pachinki is about to get a lot smaller. Not quite crested that 20-minute mark, but it's been hot and heavy action for quite a bit here. Reef just waiting outside the barrier. He's got to be careful, though. Just up above him, Zero nearly peaked.
That's very lucky. And I just have to give mad props to Zero there. Him hiding those trenches allowed them to pincer 7T as they pushed in, because 7T were just not aware at all that Zero was just hiding down this trench, so they pushed in and got backstabbed by him. It was fantastic to see.
Here comes everybody. The caravan's coming through here, and Zero just says, bring them on. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Get the knockdown onto Wolf. That's Hixu.
Death Zone has gone down on their team, so they have to be careful and not push too hard.
Oh, Molotov.
Not quite sure where that was meant to go.
Nah, he just chucked it out. It looked like he might have had the angle for a second, but he turned at the last second. Now KS might be running into it. Wolf, well, he's knocked. He's going to be down as well. Basti cleans him up. A little extra kill credit there for some of the AM members. They're still in this, and they reminded everybody. MBZ also on the outskirts. It's a shootout at the OK Corral.
Yeah, and I think Death Zone's going to get picked up in a moment by a hack shot. Oh, no, he was up, and he's just healed. So TRD almost back up to full power level, and I think it's almost at that 9,000 mark.
I can't believe we've got 7 teams alive, and there's so little space to work with. A couple of them, like 7T, only have 1 member remaining. AXT managed to get a couple more of their members up, and they backed off. You can see over here, Rotal, Demon, and Clown really all sitting in that house as far back as they can. AM still playing the rooftop game.
And yeah, AM is still alive, and they're holding these positions that are really powerful, to be fair to them. And they've changed around a couple of bits, and which
Speed52, he's on to JS, and that's one of the teams that's been very quiet right now. They've been sitting on the outskirts, but soon enough they're going to have to move. And I think you mentioned they're one of the teams without a vehicle to work with. No, they have it.
No, so it was a slightly different team, but they are going to have to push into 1 car. And we saw that last game, and they did it well. This time it's slightly different. AXT going to make it difficult for them.
Okay, just going to get right behind this first story. AXT can gatekeep them pretty easily out of this if they want.
That grenade coming out from KS, that's pretty decent. But
Reef just keeps moving. I love this. He does not stay still for a minute. Trying to stay alive as long as possible because he knows placement's going to be the best shot for 7T.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence that they're one of the top teams, and TRD
XQ gets knocked. That's pretty big right now, but still, TRD, again, you cannot count any of these members out until they are dead and 6 feet under. And MBZ, they're going to lose one to a nade. Hixu finally falls, but there's still 3 members strong on the TRD side.
That is pretty impressive there, but MBZ going to be under fire there as well from AXT. Losing a couple of players as they're just behind that one spot, so they're having to become under pressure from all these grenades coming left, right, and center. Talking of pressure, TRD almost center here of this circle. They've got one of the best sort of buildings. They've got 2 buildings, sort of a 2-1 split, which is a pretty decent one for them, but they're going to be running low of meds potentially. And Basti going to get taken down.
Knocked by Clown right now, so that's pretty big here for the AXT side. Not so much for AM. Hack shot. Not peeking for too long here. Great play by TRD once again, and they're going to be in such a good position when every other team has to move into their territory. KS still alive in this one as well. They've managed to keep it as quiet as possible, and MBZ, they're going to be forced to drive with the circle nipping at their heels.
They don't have any other choice apart from going in for the long rotation here. Unfortunately, it's going to open them up for a lot of shots. Purge and his teammates are going to get a present here.
Now they're going to drive right into him, Dukes of Hazzard style. They couldn't quite jump the gap, but it didn't matter. They win the fight at the end of the day.
Do they, though?
Looks like Purge was already on his knees.
There's one member who's just hiding in the car. Do they realize? I think that's.
I don't think they do.
That's
Purge.
He's just hiding there. I think they've seen him. They've seen him.
Let the
it's
car
going
on
to blow
fire.
up. It might actually kill him here.
Try to back away as far as they can.
They have to be careful.
All right.
They still don't kill him. If he gets alive now and just shoots them, that'd be hilarious.
If they try to pop into the car, they're going to be in for a real rude awakening right now. Bit of a wonky ending for sure. Rest of the team's still alive. MBZ, though, with these 2 members, are still making things happen. There we go. Chucking the nade out. To the smoke.
Just trying to cover themselves here so they can go away, but somehow this member's still alive. And
he gets out. No, he's not out the car just yet. Oh no! And they do the job for him. MBC finally get the down onto Purge, so all that watching and waiting was for naught.
They finally realized he was in the car, blew it up, and he fell below the earth, and now he's going to be pushing up daisies.
Oh boy, down to 6 teams. 16 players alive. All on the northeastern side of Pachinki.
XT still got 3 members left alive, and Reef going to be doing some work by himself, knocking down Basti.
Basti must have gotten back up to his feet because he was down earlier on in this fight. AM doing a good job of getting their teammates back up as well. TRD still sitting on 3. It was Hixu that got taken out earlier on.
I think this map is going to be the sort of in contention for the longest game compared to the Vikendi one.
You got to think about it. Yeah, it was kind of surprising Vikendi lasted as long as it did because it is one of those smaller maps. But here on Erangel, Part 2, it's definitely been looking like a long one. 0, covering all his angles, covering all the intervals. It's so hard, so many enemies encroaching on your territory. And we're going to have to start making a move, though, because their backs are against the blue.
Quite literally, their backpacks are in the blue as well. Very surprising, but it's a good thing they don't take any damage from that. They're going to have to try and push out MBZ in a decent position, but they're going to have to push out their little hidey hole here.
Reef is still up, by the way.
It's crazy.
He has been quiet as a mouse.
Oh. Why did you talk about him, Devin? Like, come on, mate.
Whoops.
Cast the curse.
Basti finds him. Yeah, so that's going to be the elimination, down to 5 teams. And it did seem like it was going to be a matter of time, but 7T will be pretty good with the fact that they lasted as long as they did in that situation. But now the fights are coming on between the rest of the teams. Basti gets knocked down for the 3rd time. It's Ahmed from KS that does the deed.
Look at this health bar. It's going to be ticking down all the time right now, and MBZ going to be making moves. XT, though, going to get down.
He's knocked on this one, and it looks like MBZ, they're going to lose some members. Basti finally getting killed by Ahmed, finishes the job off. So how many members are AM down to? It looks like just 2. B52 is one of those, and he's peppering the house the KS are sitting in right now. 0 tries to go forward, but he gets knocked, he gets taken down. Death Zone and TRD are making a mad dash for it.
Yeah, and TRD have to make this work for themselves. AM looks to join in, and it's going to be Death Zone going down, and that is going to be, I think, TRD almost going out. Hackshot going to be last one left alive. He pushes in, goes down, and they're out for the count.
Yeah, AXT.
Spot.
That was massive right now. They just tried to go for a huge push there, but AXT said, not today. You will not be able to break in. And the biggest surprise is TRD having their worst performance today, going out in 5th place. Still nothing to sneeze at, but wow.
It's insane that you have to say that that is their worst play, but Moving on, MBZ once again at the top here, and it's just not a coincidence. They've definitely been doing very well here. Now KS somehow still alive as well. They've not performed so great today, but this might be their game. They're in the best position.
That's true. See, Rodel still crawling on hands and knees. Dream a little bit half health. Got to deal with these AM members coming through, and Quiet as a mouse trying for it. He sneaks into the house and manages to get the kill onto Demon.
Never let a mouse inside your building. That's exactly what they did to Quiet. Going to be able to survive through that. But now the blue is going to be pushing in, and they have to be very careful. B52 jumps outside the building, but he's going to be in the blue, I think.
MBZ are in a great position right now in these trenches here, but they've got to be careful on their grenades. They might be giving away a little bit more information than they're getting.
Well, they're chucking them in the wrong one, unfortunately, because they really need to throw them to KS, because KS are the real contenders here against them. So we're actually going to be to the very final circle here, which is really intense, because we've actually not been... I don't think we've been quite this far. Maybe we have in the Vikendi one.
Yeah, but that's about the only one, I think. So you're right about this being one of the longest ones. And because there's so many houses available, all of our circles stay up and out in the open for the most part. So finally we get this urban final circle area here in Pachinki. And we'll see who comes out ahead. Will it be KS? Will it be AM? Or will it be MBZ, the winners of the last iteration of Erangel? It's 3v2v2.
Yeah, so KS have a really strong position, but MBZ now have a strong position as well over a couple of the teams, like AM, for example. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. AM going to have to push through these smokes. The fight is now going to be coming to the opposition.
All right, AM, we're going to have to run for it. Trying to breach into this house here. KS sneaking around the side, saw Quiet before he saw them. He gets knocked, taken down. B52 as well. And just like that, it's a 3v2, KS versus MBZ.
Now MBZ going to be on the opposite building here. They know where each other are. Some of the meds going to be coming out, but who has the full advantage? I think MBZ are close to the center here, so it may well be their game to win here. MBZ going to go in for the rotation here. We've got the spectator cam here, viewing both the same players. And it's going to be an interesting one here as they're going to be pushing in behind this building, which I think puts them at a disadvantage potentially. These peaks, that 4 times is a little bit too much here. This position 3 times on the move is pretty good, but now the blue has hit him. He's going to have to push in. KS have got the advantage.
Let's see if they can manage it. They know that the backs are against the wall here. They tried to do a little bit of pre-fire, but CUT Boom, that gets knocked again, and it's going to be down to Los Kev if he can do it, but he's taking heavy fire. He's down, and that's going to be the game for KS.
What a great game coming out from all these teams. The kills weren't in just one collective place as well. They're spread out across multiple teams, and if you just look at these top teams there, KS, I don't think they've really been in the top 4 before. AM, MBZ, TRD down in 5th position, but AXT in 4th, which is really good news.
Yeah, look at Demon, 6 kills for that guy, and that was really off the back of the breach the TRD tried to do themselves, and that was where AXT stuffed them. I don't think I've seen a single team do that against TRD today, and that was why it was so impressive. Unfortunately for them, they get wiped out almost immediately afterwards, but they still put up a pretty impressive fight, and they've earned a lot of points for it.
Yeah, I'm definitely proud of them doing that, and Demon is not someone we've actually talked about too much because he hasn't really done anything.
Well, I mean, they were so downed earlier on. You had Clown really stepping up in the early stages of the game. You had Lord as well, getting that 2-man car explosion earlier on into AM, and that was on Miramar. But now everyone's starting to step up on the AXT side.
Yeah, I think we've seen actually Demon go out maybe first on AXT almost every time. Maybe not on Vikendi. I don't think that was him, but maybe it was one of the first.
Well, everybody went down on Vikendi, right? Except for Clown.
Actually, yeah, on that front. But interesting to see the sort of the positions change up. MBZ coming in huge, going in 2nd. From their very passive play style, they've actually come into Erangel and gotten a 1st and a 2nd, which is really impressive. The kills aren't crazy high, but it doesn't matter as long as you can get the points.
It matters so much more in this playoff. And here's the highlights. Yeah, MBZ really doing a great job here now that we switched over to Erangel. I want to see how this game went again. Once more, the rooftop play from AM, and this time they found VW and really just owned Pachinki early on. There was some answer back, but they got their revenge in the end.
Yeah, and so these are really good kills coming in from these guys. Basti on AM really putting in the fire on VW, and it was really that play which allowed them to win. And we're over in Novo, and this battle went on for so long. They were just sitting in the blue for ages.
KS looked like they were in such a bad spot, but they ended up taking the whole map after all. Here was more of the AM highlights. There were so many Pachinki battles, and here was Clown moving around the side. He found MBK, and he found the win.
Yeah, RBK, unfortunately, not going to work out. And look at this play from Lord. He peeks into the window. He's like, sup, buddy?
Staying on the ledge. Yeah, you always got to check your windows. You never know who's going to be peeking in on you right there. And that was 7T that actually found IK, even though they looked like they were going to be down numbers. Hixu, this was really great usage of that cover, just on both sides, peeking left, then peeking right. And Death Zone mopping up Rush to Crush. They have had so much trouble since Vikendi.
Yeah, and I think Death Zone dedicated himself to that sort of fight a little bit too much in the end. He downed the players, but he then returned, going a little bit too aggressive. But nonetheless, look at this play from Zero. Probably my favorite play of all game. He comes out of the I guess the sort of ditch here and takes on 7T and really pushes them to the limit. And then we've got MBZ, who ended up coming second, getting burnt alive here.
Yeah, they lost so many members and they were just backed against the wall almost consistently, but they finally found a way to play it. I love when they drove into the ditch and then they didn't even realize there was one more guy there and he just was like, shh, but then they took him down at the end of the day anyways. And here was that fight, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't really much of a fight because one of them does go down, but it was very easy from that front. And look at this Purge, last member just sitting in the car.
I would have gotten out of the car at that point.
Don't notice me. Car blows up and bada boom, they're out.
Sometimes playing dead doesn't work. You get dead for real.
And look at this. Look how many times they went down between them. It was very difficult.
Yeah, that was the breach that Zero attempted and then Hackshot, and they kind of staggered it. AXT did such a great job of honestly spraying in those short distances, but then they got answered on. Quiet comes in, he gets the outplay, and then it was AM versus KS, and well, you know the rest.
Yeah, no, I have to say for a lot of these teams, they're actually trying to use a 4 times or even a 6 times in some cases at very close proximity. And it's just not the thing to do. You need to be trying to adapt to these situations, taking off those scopes, and just doing iron scope. I mean, we saw TRD do it. I didn't see them once use a scope way too close. They were adaptable, and they really went for the flow of the game. Unfortunately, that staggered approach to that building is not the thing. And it's actually the first time we've really seen that from them. And as soon as they did it, they collapsed. They didn't work out properly. Usually they go in 2x2 or sort of 3, and then they have one person covering their back in the different angles so that they can't get pushed and third-partied, which is really clever. And they've definitely got some sort of brain there. But you know what? I want to talk about Reef.
Yeah, that's a great idea because they lasted pretty long as he was able to just sit there at the end and kind of taking a lead from AXT earlier in the day, just hiding in plain sight best he could.
Yeah, I think he got maybe 6th or 7th place.
Yeah, according to my notes, he ended up placing out in 6th place just because of him, and they were almost out in 10th. So he managed to survive for quite a while, and he was always on the move. That was the impressive thing for Reef. He was inside the house, outside the house. He just staggered back and forth.
Dodge and roll. That's
all you got to do sometimes.
Snake sometimes, you know. But he did do that very well, and he was dodging in around the sort of buildings, not staying in one place too long. And when he did find a home, unfortunately, he was taken down. So in the end, you have to give mad props to all these teams. They played fantastically throughout the first day here. I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow and the next day as well. We've got a whole lot more PUBG Mobile Club Open coming right at you, but this is it for the broadcast today for the MEA region, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. CEST on this channel, so don't go anywhere. Well, you can wait 24 hours and come right back. We'll see you then.